3, 2, 1, and there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Surrounded by Details podcast Phone Companion. My name is Stevo. Thank you so much for tuning in. And what we do here at the Phone Companion is basically like a normal podcast, sitting together with friends and watching fights. But since life is a little bit more difficult in Southeast Asia and everybody is a little bit more apart here in the region, we basically just grab our phones, call each other up, and then talk about the fights that we are watching, talk a little bit of shit and other stuff that might come up. So today we're gonna be joined by Joe Ray. First of all, I'm gonna call him up in a few minutes, and he is still owing me a interview from the Full Metal Dojo 14 recap, where he basically fell to sleep after his journey back to Phuket, because the event was in Bangkok. So we're gonna call up Joe Ray first. I know he is down south in Phuket somewhere, watching with some friends. We will see where that is, and then I'm gonna call up my friend from Kumite Radio, John Hyon Ko. And yeah, we're gonna tune in with him, see what he has to say about the fights and what happened in general. If you haven't checked out Kumite Radio, make sure to do that after this podcast, not before, because we are live right now. If you're listening on iTunes or Podbean, you are probably not live. You are re-listening to this episode, but we always try to live stream these events. Before we start though, I would like to give two shout outs. First of all, one big shout out to our new sponsor for the rest of 2017, ladies and gentlemen, Dreamcatcher Hostel Bar and Cafe. So if you want to come to Bangkok and have a pleasant stay, then make sure to check in with the Dreamcatcher Hostel. They have good craft beer as well, and cool people in general. The second shout out is something that I don't get paid for at all, but I need to do it because these guys were awesome yesterday. They are one of the main reasons why we can do this today. Power Mac here in Bangkok at the Fortune Town, power/mac.com. They brought back my old laptop to life yesterday when my screen started to get fucked up. So big shout out to them, and again big shout out to Dreamcatcher. With both of them, this podcast would have not been possible today. And with that being said, I think we can just tune into it and start our Phone Companion here. And I'm gonna take it to the phone and call up Joe Ray. I'm a little bit nervous, to be honest, because last time I called Joe Ray's number, no answer. And I was wondering what was happening, because we were recording the FMD recap, Full Metal Dojo. Again, if you haven't been in Bangkok, the MMA event around here in town. It's a MTV party style, and it was a really good event. They moved to the new Insanity location, and Joe Ray was headlining. And then when we tried to call him up, no answer. We knew he was on his way, but we're gonna ask him what exactly happened. He can tell us by himself. Explain yourself, Mr. Joe Ray. And there we push the call button. Call. It should be calling. There we go.
Hello?
There he is, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joe, the Florida boy. Ray, how are you doing?
Hey, good. What's up, man? I'm just chilling here watching some fights with a couple of buddies.
Yeah, where are you watching today?
What's that? Where?
Where are you watching today?
Oh, I'm watching at my friend Alex Shields' house.
I actually just...
I'm sitting here with him right now, and I got him and Emilo here.
Yeah, I was just talking to Alex, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wanted to ask him if he wanted to join in on our little Phone Companion action, but he said he was busy. I had some friends over, so I put one and one together and thought that you were going to be there.
Yeah, because we're probably gonna have a bunch of people over here. It's probably gonna get loud real soon.
Nice, man. So let's get this over with quick. I just talked to the audience and I explained to them you didn't answer your phone last time we were trying to record the Full Metal Dojo.
Yeah, that was my bad, man. I felt like a real dickhead. I was so exhausted. I just fell asleep, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna wake up in a little bit and then Just never woke up at like 11 o'clock and I was like, oh shit, I forgot.
Shit happens, man. And we got John on the podcast, which was quite entertaining because he was still out and having a good time with the fighters and guests. So it was quite entertaining. And as you said, shit happens sometimes. Joe, I want to talk to you quickly about your fight against Marcelo. You were headlining Full Metal Dojo, and I already asked you the day before at the weigh-ins. Can you explain what it meant for you to headline Full Metal Dojo after all the trouble you had the past couple of months with the Battlefield and everything that was going on?
Oh man, I mean, anytime you can headline an event, it's an honor in itself. But just the Full Metal Dojo, just the blueprint and how they operate. It's just it's a pleasure to be around. It's just like a big party, really. We do a lot of promoting, and it's just just the whole event set up. And it was just great, man. Just they moved it from the last, I guess it was the old Insanity that I fought there before. It was just like it was like basically a carbon copy of this one, of the last one, but it was just bigger, and it was kind of the same thing, Like I went there, I got the win, and it was kind of like a deja vu type of thing. It's a different way to win and different opponent, obviously, but it was more or less the same thing. I had a lot of buddies come out, and it was just great, man. I had a lot of support. And, anytime I get to fight for a Full Metal Dojo, it's always a pleasure. I like working with those guys, and it's just, it's real easy. You just show up, and everything goes pretty smoothly. So it was good.
Yeah, Javier described it as the new Insanity is a little bit bigger. The old one is a little bit more like a Kumite style. So it was a change, but for a photographer, I have to say it was a change to the better because there were so many lights going on. How easy is it for you to focus on a fight with all this party around going on?
Oh, man, I kind of like it, man, because you kind of just tune out. I get in my own little zone, and, you just come out once. The waiting is just the hard part, but once you get there and they call your name and then you're walking out, then it's like, you just kind of get into the zone and, you just show up and you fight. As long as I'm trained and I feel good, it's, the fight is not necessarily the easy part, but it's like, it can be fun. You get nerves and that, but it's just more fun. You walk out, and I don't really focus on that type of stuff. I just focus on business and what I got to take care of.
Now, when you cut weight, I can imagine it sucks to cut weight and then you see other people eating delicious food. Is that the same kind of style at FMD? You have to fight and you can't wait until you can go to the bar because everybody's drinking and having a good time.
Oh man, to be honest, my adrenaline was dumping so hard. Alcohol won't do anything, doesn't have anything on that adrenaline. So I didn't really care to go straight to the bar. I was more or less I had a pretty nice headache afterwards, to be honest. So I was chilling for a little bit, and I went around and did a couple interviews, and then just went in the back and got everybody together. We just walked back to the hotel, and I took a shower, and then we went back out and did some drinking. But it wasn't like I was in a rush to get to the bar. It was more or less I was just hanging out with. It was nice to have all my friends around and teammates, and it was just really something special.
Yeah, I saw that Tiger Muay Thai was representing strong that evening. How long have you been training down there?
Oh man, I've been back and forth. I probably spent a total of about 4 to 5 years in Thailand over the past maybe 8 or 9 years, and I'd probably say during the past 8 or 9 years, I'd say a solid 4 years training at Tiger, off and on. So I've seen a lot of people come and go, and some faces are still the same, and they've always treated me real well. It's just like kind of a home away from home type of thing, and it's a special place and like a special thing that we got going on there right now. It's a lot of really great guys, and really good friends that I've developed over the years just through there. It's an international hub. People coming, high level fighters coming from all over the world to meet in this one place on this one road. So it's definitely something special. Yeah,
maybe a stupid question here to ask, but what made you choose Tiger Muay Thai? Because I said it to George at Full Metal Dojo. It seems like Tiger Muay Thai is being the spot at the moment, and there's a bunch of other gyms around. You have Phuket Top Team, you have AKA Thailand. Why Tiger Muay Thai?
Man, to be honest, a friend of mine. So when I just first started training martial arts, I was doing. I was training for like a year, and then I started doing amateur kickboxing. And then a friend of mine approached me, and he was like, "Hey, you want to go to Thailand?" And I was like, "I'd never really done anything like that." And this was like 8 or 9 years ago, and I'm like, "No, maybe more. I don't know, something like that in that time frame." And I'm like, Yeah, sure. I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go. It's like, you just put the trip together and I'll, whatever, I'll pay my way and I'll go. So I didn't really think anything of it. Then he actually put the trip together and then we went. So I scheduled for, and he booked it to Tiger. So I was like, all right, cool. And then he originally, we scheduled to stay for a month and I liked it so much. I was like, man, forget this. So I ended up staying for like 3 months and then I ended up extending when it was all said and done for like 9 months. So, and then I got to Tiger, and I'd never experienced anything like that. I mean, I was trained in Miami at the time, but just the way it was out here, the lifestyle and the people around, and it was just really something special. So I ended up staying out here, and I stuck with Tiger, and they treated me real well, and I got to know a lot of the guys here. It was a different, different management and different coaches at the time, but they treated me real well, and it was great. So, and I just ended up, I got introduced to as the years go by, new staff comes in, new coaches come in, and they're all cool. So it just kept me coming back, and I love the place.
Yeah, it's a good place, man. You got George Hickman there, head coach of MMA. You got Alex Shield there, and many other good people. Emilio is training there as well, the Honey Badger. I need to talk. I need to talk to him, by the way, very soon because he has some stuff brewing too.
Yeah, he's got one coming up.
Yeah, but
he's looking real good out here, though. Yeah, Alex is actually fighting too. Yeah, so.
Oh shit, Alex is fighting
right around
too.
the same time, so it'll be cool.
God damn, it's so much happening. But before we continue here, man, I want to go into your fight versus Marcelo real quick. How much did you know about Marcelo before?
Oh man, I don't know. I didn't really know too much about him. I saw that he had a lot of Muay Thai fights, and then somebody said he was a brown belt, which I didn't really get from watching his. I watched. John gave me the names. I was supposed to fight somebody else, but he couldn't. He couldn't confirm that he was going to be out here at that time, so he was like, "Listen, we can secure this one right now." And I just wanted to fight, so I was like, "All right, we can secure this one." I guess he was supposed to fight somebody else. They dropped out, so we can confirm this. It's going to be heavier or whatever. So it's a catch weight of 87 kilos, which I usually go 84 or below, but I haven't really been the below in a while for obvious reasons because it sucks to get down there. But he was like, we can do this guy. So I just searched him up real quick, and I saw like one or two of his fights just real quick, and just to see how he moves. And I was like, all right, I like the matchup. He did look like a bigger guy, but it was cool. I liked the skill set matchup. Right, it wasn't didn't look like he was like that dangerous at anything. So it was good to go for me. And then but he ended up being a lot bigger than I had anticipated. So
yeah, you guys in general.
Besides the fact that he missed weight by almost 2 kilos, but it was, even that aside, he knew it would have made weight. He was just a big boy.
Yeah,
he was heavy. Threw heavy.
Yeah, you guys looked big in that small cage in general because Full Metal Dojo uses a smaller cage because
big boy in a small cage. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah. As always, I look at the fights through my camera doing the fights, and it always looks a little bit different. So I like to double confirm. But I had the feeling Marcelo looked a little bit shaky at the beginning, the first few seconds, 30 seconds there. Can you talk us through the fight?
Hey, what's up, man? Hold on a second, sorry.
No problem.
Shaky, I don't know. He just came forward. I think that he knew that I don't know if he was worried about his cardio or what, but I think he just came forward. He knew that he had maybe a little bit of burst in him, and then he was just going to try to air out whatever he had, whatever burst. He was just going to try to come forward and hurt me with something. And he kind of caught me by surprise, and he started throwing those leg kicks, hit me with one of them. It was like pretty heavy leg. So I just try to remain cool and just figure him out a little bit, and then just went to. Obviously, we saw what happened, but I don't know about the shaky part. I knew that he was just going to try to come forward and kind of air out his gas tank.
Yeah, it was even though the fight didn't last so long, I still enjoyed it. Again, big boys in a small cage, and there was action all the time. And to bring this slowly to an end, you were actually promised a sword by Full Metal Dojo CEO, founder, and main entertainer John Hyon Ko.
My feelings are still real hurt about that. Somebody owes a sword.
So, are you going to be back in the Full Metal Dojo cage? Can you tell us anything more?
I mean, I'd love to. I don't know. They have a show coming up. There was talks about I don't even know the date. Maybe like a month or two from now.
Halloween was the last word we heard from John.
Yeah, like something like that. So I mean, I would love to be back there. You know, as long as everything makes sense for me going back out there, then you know, as far as opponent and stuff, and then you know, yeah, I would love to go out there and do it again. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm sure I'll be talking to John again about that, and you know, a little bit when he has something to. When he has like some more details about it, so we'll see what happens, man. I would love to be out there, though. I had the time of my life out there.
Well, Halloween would be perfect because you walk in with a mask, and by the way, awesome feature for photos. I can only say that as a photographer. What's up with that?
What's that?
With a mask.
Oh man, I don't know. I like it. It helps me get in state, and it's like I've been doing that for I don't even know, probably like. I don't know, 3 years now. It's kind of like a tradition. I just switch it up every time, or like sometimes I'll keep the same mask, but I'll just repaint it. So it's a little something new. It's a little something new every time, just to keep it fun and interesting. You know, rather than just walking out, just a normal walkout. It's just something fun and you know, give some kind of entertainment value.
Yeah, I'd enjoyed it, and I will send you some flicks very soon. I still have to wait.
That'd be great, man. Yeah, send me whatever you can. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I still have to wait because the pictures are paid for, and I need for them to publish them first, and then I can shoot them out. Welcome to the world of copyrights. Joe, thank you so much for taking the time. I leave you back to your UFC party that you have going on there. Can you just do me one last favor? And I might catch you guys on the spot right now, but can you handle me over to Emilio real quick?
Yeah, sure, man. Hold on 1 second.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
I'm just gonna run up on. Hey, thanks again, man. I appreciate the time, and sorry about leaving you hanging last time.
No problem. That happens.
Not my style.
No problem.
Hey, Emma, somebody wants to speak to me, buddy. Yeah, real quick. Come on. Hey, we live? Yeah, the Badger, though. Here comes the Badger. Yo, we live? Badger's
we are live. The Badger is live on the Surrounded by Details podcast.
Hey, I haven't had my morning poop yet. You sure we can go live before morning poop?
Dude, we can do this anywhere because we are the phone companion. We can go with you while you take a shit or whatever you do. We don't care.
They can't see me, right? They can't see my hair, right?
No, man, no worries.
All right, good. Hold on. Let me get these headphones in. What's happening, man? How you guys doing?
We are going just wonderful. We just started 17 minutes ago, had a short chat to Joe Ray, and then I kind of caught him on the spot because I wanted to talk to you real quick. Basically, just 1 or 2 questions. First of all, Emilio, I heard some news. You signed with somebody. Can you tell us who you signed with?
Oh, snap. Yeah, I signed with ONE FC earlier in the year this year, so that's going to be exciting stuff. I'm looking forward to that.
Boom, man. When did that all happen? Because it kind of went by a little bit unnoted.
Yeah, that's all right. When did I sign? I think earlier, like right in the beginning of the year, right when the year started, right in the beginning of 2017 I started. So I would say January, February. Yeah, maybe January. I think early January I signed. So I haven't really said much. I've been training a lot, getting ready for my debut, and just waiting for a fight to be announced, and then I was gonna like let everybody know.
So are you in the talks already for a fight or with the opponent? How far are you from making it happen, and how far are we from actually seeing you in the one cage very soon?
Oh man, yeah, I think everything's going good. You know, definitely not far at all. You know, so I'm excited. Like I think they're gonna have some news soon for everybody. So I'm excited to hear that. You know, hopefully we have some good stuff to say pretty soon.
Very nice, man. And I don't want to.
Things are on the up and up. Everything's all good.
I don't want to push it too far, but can you tell us what kind of direction and opponent we are going here? Can you name a country?
Asian.
You bastard, man.
This guy is definitely going to be Asian, you know? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, man. I got an Asian opponent from, Southeast Asia. I don't know nothing yet, dog. I'll let you know when I know.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to it.
When I'm told I can release, I'm gonna get on a ladder on the highest ladder in Phuket and scream it from a microphone.
Okay. You're talking about the release of the fight, not of the release of your dump because you're still on the toilet.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was up.
No, I was just joking around. Emilio, we got to bring you back on the podcast for a little longer interview once we know who you're fighting and once we know where you are fighting. I'm looking forward to see you in action and taking photos of you as always.
Yeah, for sure, man. I want to do it live on the podcast, dog. I want to come to the famous couch.
Well,
And,
the famous couch has
live,
moved.
so.
Yeah, the famous couch kind of had moved. We had to leave our studio because of private changes. So we are working on a new studio, and until then, we just do it over audio. But if you make it, I'm going to make something up, some sort of studio, or maybe we just take it to a bar or wherever, and we make the podcast there. I mean, at the Surrounded by Details podcast, everything is possible.
Ah, yeah, hell yeah, man. All right, that sounds good, man.
Looking
I'm
forward to
excited
that.
for that. We can make it happen for sure.
All right, Emilio. Thank you so much for coming on the phone on short notice while you're taking a dump. Say hello to Alex Shields. Say thank you to Joe Ray for answering the phone this time. And enjoy the UFC party, man. I got to keep on going over to John from Kumite Radio because we're going to watch the fights as well. And, Before I finish, how disappointed are you from a scale 1 to 10 to see Shevchenko dropping out? Because she trains at Tiger Muay Thai.
Man, I'm so mad. I can't believe I'm in Nunez, man. Just gonna mess up our morning like that. I just woke up to the saddest news. I was so excited, this morning when I woke up like Christmas.
Yeah, man.
Now, it's all right. We still got Romero who's gonna do it for the homies in Miami, for all the Cubans in the 305. So it's all good, dog. But that was pretty heartbreaking.
Yeah, I had a tear on my face as well, man. I'm very, very sad. However, it is what it is. Emilio, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Right. Enjoy your dump, and I talk to you soon.
All right, no worries, big dog. Cheers, everybody.
All right,
all
peace.
The Surrounded by Details crew.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
You too.
All right,
peace.
See you soon. Later.
Boom, that was fun and surprising. We got Emilio on there. Alex Shield is hosting. Hopefully we will get Alex on the podcast as well very soon, because as we heard, he is about to fight as well. There's loads of fights going on. I mean, we have one championship coming up in Indonesia on July 29th, and then we have Kuala Lumpur, and then what else do we have? Then we have then we have Macau, then we have Kuala Lumpur, then Shanghai, then Indonesia again, then Beijing. There's loads of one championship going on. Halloween edition by Full Metal Dojo. If you haven't checked that promotion out, Full Metal Dojo, make sure to get your ass on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, and just check out the most 80 MTV promotion that you can find, because they decide we're just gonna take the cage and put it in the middle of a club, have a bunch of drinks, and have some awesome fights. So, and with that being said, I think it is time to keep on going. And once again, I reach out for my phone. It is time to take it to the wonderful world of Skype and look for John. There we go. Give him a call on a Skype. And let me switch all my laptop stuff here to the UFC going on.
Hello?
Hello, hello, hello.
What's going on? What's really good?
Well, not much, man. I woke up this morning with tears because I saw Nunes had to pull out the fight against Shevchenko. I'm hurt. Then we had a buddy dropping out from the phone companion as well. So it's not the best start in the morning.
Well, life is unpredictable.
That's true. And funny you say that, because we just had the chance to actually talk to Joe Ray, who still owed us an interview about his recap of Full Metal Dojo, and then we had a chance to talk to Emilio Urrutia while he was taking a dump. So yeah, I think that made up a little bit for the sad news this morning.
Well, any interview while you're taking a dump is a good interview.
You got to take what you get sometimes, man. Where are you at?
Oh, me? I'm at my house.
And have you set up your TV and everything ready to go for the UFC?
Yeah, I'm all set. Usually the same setup that I have every Sunday morning whenever there is a UFC.
And how does that look? Are your feet on the table? Are you stretched out? Are you sitting? Or are you lying on the floor? Describe your home a little bit.
Well, I'm in my room at my desk where I usually do the podcast and everything, and I just got my laptop open, sitting back in my chair with this morning it's just some coffee and relaxing.
Only coffee this morning, and I have to say I admire you a little bit because I didn't get my coffee, and it is Buddha holiday here in Thailand, so no alcohol sold until Tuesday again. I think Tuesday we are back to normal and we can actually go and buy a beer.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Well, there's something new to learn every day. John, did you watch the prelims?
Yeah, I watched a few of the fights, and not too great. You know, there were some finishes and stuff like that, but other than that, I don't know. It wasn't like the greatest, and Travis Brown just looked like Travis Brown, and
that is exactly what I wanted to ask you about, man. What do you think about Travis Brown? I mean, he was close to the finish there at the beginning, and then what happened?
That's his story, I guess, for the last couple fights, is that he'll come out and he's to me, he is the most like athletically gifted, or one of the most athletically gifted heavyweight fighters, but he just doesn't. It seems like he just doesn't know how to use his gifts, and maybe I don't know why he doesn't know how to use his gifts. Maybe it's his coaching. Who knows what it is? Maybe it's just him mentally. But in every fight, he usually like does well in the beginning, and he like hurts the other fighter, and then he just gets like, I guess, too anxious and goes in and makes mistakes, and after those mistakes and after he gets clipped, he's not the same fighter and he ends up losing.
Yeah,
and now it's getting worse and worse.
Yeah, you think he's done? Because there were some talks about that if he loses, that he will be done.
I think if he loses, or if he did lose, so I think that him and Ronda are gonna go get on the island in Hawaii and make some babies.
And then
that's what's gonna happen.
Some babies with beards and great judo, and then they're gonna reappear in Bellator in 10 years on the same card.
Exactly. I think that they have the some great DNA for a offspring that can throw down. You know, let's
like
I think he's like 6'7".
I have no idea. I think he lost like the last 4 of his 6 fights or something like that. I'm not really aware of his stats.
He's been knocked out. He's lost his last 4 fights, including this one. His last 4 fights were this one, Verdum, Velasquez, and one more guy. I forgot the other guy, but yeah, but the thing is, he's lost to the top guys that have champions, or either like they fought for the title. So it's hard to say that he's done. You never know with these fighters, right? Because like give an example of Matt Brown. Do you know who Matt Brown is?
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah, Matt Brown was the same way. He was just losing or winning and losing and winning and losing, and then all of a sudden something clicked and he won like 5, 6 in a row, and then he was like in the top 5 as a welterweight. So you never know. Travis Brown is not that old either. Yeah,
but on the other hand, if you lose against the top guys and you are there for a reason, because you want to be the world champion, and then you can't win against the top guys. Does it really make sense once you realize, okay, I'm never gonna make it to the top, I'm never gonna become a world champion?
Well, I think that you might not make it in your first run, because this is kind of like he's still in his first run, and he's still young. So. And then at heavyweights, they fight for some reason. Their prime is like later on in their years. You know, most of those champions are like in their mid-30s, or they hit their prime in their mid-30s for some reason.
I think that is sorry to interrupt you there, but I think that is a little bit like in soccer or football, as we say in Europe. A goalkeeper is better when they get older because they have the experience, and heavyweights are not that fast, so you can have a slower reaction, and it actually helps you to have more experience. You know what I mean? Because if you I don't know, middleweight or whatever, where things are a little bit faster and you grow older, you don't have the reaction time anymore. And heavyweight, it still allows you to go a little bit longer and still be at the top. That is my theory. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's my theory.
Yeah. Also, I've seen quite a few heavyweights train, and they don't train like other fighters in different weight classes. Like, they're not training as long. I don't know. Like, in my experience, like, I've seen some heavyweights train, and it doesn't seem like they're taking that much punishment in training compared to like a welterweight or a lightweight where they're just training all the time.
Hmm.
I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, I think the careers last longer because a lot of their fights don't even last that long, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because there's so much power behind. And talking about heavyweights, and we might drift off here a little bit, but that's what the Phone Companion is all about. You think that, what are your thoughts about Cormier versus Jones? Because Cormier has reached a certain age, and that might be his last fight.
Yeah, who knows? You know, that fight is like, to be honest with you, like if you asked somebody a couple years ago, it would have been all Jones. They would have been Jones, 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 even in the rematch. But now Jones has been gone for so long. And who knows if he comes out like he did when he fought St. Preux the last time he came off the long layoff, Cormier will be able to beat him, you know. But it's John Jones, you know, like he is the most talented fighter to ever grace the octagon or any cage. So who knows? That's a big toss-up. It's hard to say who's gonna win or who's not gonna win. I hope he loses.
What, Cormier?
I hope. No, Jones.
Yeah, me too, man.
I hope he not because I hate Jones. I do not hate Jones at all. I think Jones is like I just said, and I like Jones. Jones has a good story. He's fucked up and he's come back, and he's fucked up and he's come back. The story is awesome. You know, like his story is a movie. When we get older, and if MMA gets so big, they could make a movie about, like, you know, like how nowadays there's a lot of movies coming out about boxers from the past.
Yeah, yeah.
Same thing. His story could be a movie in the future.
That's a nice thought. I like that.
Yeah, I like that about him.
I never thought about this.
But I want the trilogy. That's what I want.
I knew that is gonna come. I knew you're gonna bring this up.
Yeah, I want that. If you're a fan, you want those types of trilogies. Like the first fight, yeah, Jones won, but he didn't finish him. You know?
Yeah.
And if Cormier comes back and finishes Jones, and Jones loses for the first time in his career, and gets finished by Cormier, the person that he hates the most, that story just continues, and it just makes it way better. You know, with all the other stuff that has happened. Yeah. And it makes it so much more fun as a fan to watch
for sure
of MMA, especially all the Jones haters too.
Do you think that is a trilogy that could happen still this year, or would they build it up more and more like they do with Nate Diaz? Because that is going to happen eventually at some point, and they're going to throw down again. But thinking of MSG, the MSG card is about to come. Conor McGregor is not available, and yeah, a lot of good fights happening now in the summer already. They kind of need to deliver for the MSG card. Do you think that could happen? I mean, how possible could that be in such a short amount of time?
Are you talking about the MSG card in November? Is that when it's happening?
Yes.
Okay, so what I've heard is that GSP wants to fight somebody on the MSG card, so they're trying to find a opponent for GSP, which is maybe Bisping.
Most likely going to be Bisping.
Yeah, it all depends on what happens in this fight tonight, the main event between Whittaker and Romero. If the winner is injured and he can't come back fast enough, I'm guaranteeing you they're gonna make the GSP versus Bisping fight. It's gonna happen at MSG.
I think it's gonna happen either way.
Tonight. Yeah, main event for sure.
Well, we have a lot of stuff to look forward to. Something that, again, I have to bring it up for the people who haven't been aware of this. I don't know how you could miss it by now, but Nunes versus Shevchenko is cancelled. And funny-wise, Joanna Jędrzejczyk actually offered her talent to step into the cage, fighting for the 125 belt. That would have been amazing, because I don't know how many people are aware of this, but Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Shevchenko have some history in Muay Thai. I think they fought twice or three times, and all bouts won by Shevchenko. So that would have been interesting, but yeah, Dana White and the commission had something against that. And as I read this morning, Nunes was actually cleared by the doctors. So what is really going on there? I'm not a big Nunes fan. I'm being open about that straight away. I think she is a little bit annoying. But you think Nunes is aware of that Shevchenko can already break her and take the belt? You think Nunes is running?
I don't think Nunes is running, because these fighters, man, they're fighters, and you're at the top of the the food chain. and they didn't get there by running from other fighters. So I don't think they're running. I think that the way that the UFC is playing this is wrong, because they need to support their champions, man. And I'm pretty sure what they said was that she has been sick for a few days and been going to the doctor to get checked out, and then the doctors were saying that she's fine. But that's what the UFC is saying. You know, Nunes hasn't come out and said anything. You know, it's hard to just believe what the UFC has been printing.
You said USA there, racist.
UFC has been printing, but like a lot of the publications that's been printing the news is getting their information from the UFC. And it's hard to believe that one side. So like Nunes, I picked Shevchenko to win.
Yeah, me
the
too.
Fight, because I believe that Nunes is the only person that could probably really give her any problems is Shevchenko, because her striking is so tough and her cardio is so good, and then it's hard to like fight her on the ground because her grappling has gotten a lot better. But I don't know. I don't want to like really blame Nunes, right? Because until she comes out and explains herself, and I think she should explain herself. But going back to the Shevchenko versus Joanna, and that was, I understand why they didn't put that fight together. The reason why is they're in Las Vegas, and Las Vegas is actually a real commission, and they run their ship, and their ship is tight, so they couldn't make that fight happen because it's like less than 12 hours notice. True. That's crazy. You know, that means like you could just make any fight, you know, with like 12 hours left and put people in danger. So it's good that they blocked it, but it also makes more fans of both Joanna and Shevchenko for them to say like, hey, they're down to fight.
Yeah, man, and I totally understand why they bring that up as well, and I think Joanna is very much aware of that this fight would have not happened. But you need news, you need people to say I would have stepped in there in order to make things look a little bit better. And yeah, we tried to make it happen, but we couldn't because of the commission. So they have somebody else to blame. And as you see, as you said, the UFC is a place. A little bit like the WWE, it's all about the story. You need to build it up right. So yeah, you need the people, keep them talking. You know what I mean? Keep the interest, give them options, what they can talk about. So I think that was a little bit just for that purpose. Dana said in an interview this morning, Thai time, Bangkok time, that they are most likely going to reschedule this bout, Nunes versus Shevchenko, for the UFC 215 in September. And looking at the card UFC 213, it seems a little bit cursed because there's a few bouts that had to drop out. I mean, we had Lawler versus Cowboy Cerrone, which is now rescheduled for 214, and now Nunes, and also in the prelims there were a bunch of fights that came together on short notice. What's going on with this card? Why is this happening?
Well, Las Vegas, or the International Fight Week, has been cursed for the last 3 years. All three main events for the last 3 years have been like canceled, or late replacements have happened.
True, we had the card yesterday, the Ultimate Fighter card Redemption. Cody couldn't fight Dillashaw. That's true. I totally forgot about this.
Actually, that fight was for this card. It was the original main event for this card.
I see.
Cody versus Dillashaw.
But talking about
last year,
talking about the Ultimate Fighter card yesterday, let's quickly go into the Justin Gaethje versus Michael Johnson fight. What are your thoughts on this one?
Oh, it was awesome. It's like everybody was saying online, is, you know, that was like one of the fights of the year, or the fight of the year. It's actually, that fight is like the last year's Cub Swanson versus Chedo fight, but even better is because somebody got knocked the fuck out. You know, like there was a climax at the end, like boom, it finished. And and I've been a Justin Gaethje fan for a long time, because I knew that he was a top 5 lightweight in the world the whole time he was fighting outside the UFC. It's like Michael Chandler. If Michael Chandler came to UFC, he would be doing the same thing. He would be out there punishing fools in the top 5, just like, you know, like Justin Gaethje is doing right now. And Justin Gaethje, he's gonna have a lot of fans.
Yeah, for sure. I think the fight yesterday
yeah.
just contributed to that massively.
And his attitude is, hey, I'm gonna go out there. He's undefeated, number one. He's undefeated with like a 90 or like 80-something% knockout ratio of finishes, right? With like 15 knockouts or something. He's 18-0.
Yeah.
And then he says that he's not afraid to go out there and bang. His attitude is like, hey, if I lose, I lose, but I'm an entertainer. Who does not like that? You know, like,
yeah, that's true.
There's nobody that does not like that. So him, whoever he fights, he's gonna draw eyes. And it was awesome, man. It was like, it's one of those fights where you're like screaming during the fight.
Yeah, right? Man, that was basically what happened yesterday when I was watching the fight. But I'm asking myself, does the style of Gaethje, how long does it last? And as you say, he's very much aware of that himself. He's an entertainer. At some day, there is going to be somebody who will have the knockout power and knock him out with that one punch, because he always gets caught. And in Germany, we call it Rummelboxer, which means basically like night market boxer. You know, you just go forward all the time and you get damaged, but you don't care. And this is what I don't get. I mean, I get that he sees that this brings him forward, but that also shows me that this person doesn't think forward, because this is gonna be very, very damaging for his brain in the long run if he keeps on going. He should move his head a little bit more. You know what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah, but you know, that's his style. But when you get the thing is, like, it's a double-edged sword, because if you fight smart, then everybody's like, you're boring. Nobody wants to see you fight.
Wait a second. I just need to say one name, Conor McGregor.
Well, Conor McGregor is a little different because, you know, like his style is a little bit, you know, he has different skill sets than Gaethje does. You know, like you just said, the head movement is key for Conor McGregor, but I don't know, like, Conor McGregor's a different, you know, he's in his own lane.
Yeah, so I know what you're trying to say.
It's hard to speak on it, you know.
I know what you're trying to say, but this is why I see the evolution of fighting. I mean, I have not been in the game as long as other people have, but still I think that this is where it should go from the fighters. Try not to get hit. If you look at the Dominic Cruz, okay, not the most exciting fighter. Look at the Mighty Mouse. They all are a little bit more aware of the consequences and try to avoid to get punched. While Gaethje just doesn't give a shit and says, I do it as long as I can, but doesn't think ahead when he's turning 40 or 50 or 60. I mean, we all saw what happened to Muhammad Ali. And this is something that I think fighters should be aware of, not only for themselves, but also to develop the sport into a more viewer-friendly direction.
Yeah, I guess, you know, if you look at it from that viewpoint, you are right, totally, completely right. But if you're looking at it as like just like a fan just watching it, you need people like Gaethje, you need people like Conor McGregor, you need people like GSP, you need all different styles, all different, like styles. You need different styles and different characters, so when they fight, you could kind of promote them. If everybody's the exact same, it's not fun.
I totally agree with you. I mean, if you just watch as a fan and don't give a shit about the fighter's life, then hey, what do we want? We want fights like yesterday versus Gaethje versus Johnson. I totally agree. But I think you also have a certain responsibility as a fan, because you like the sports, you support your fighters, and it seems a little bit dickhead to me to support your fighters, and then when they can't fight anymore, you just don't give a shit about them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. That's 90% of fans, though.
Yeah, including myself.
That's 90% of fans that watch the sport. They don't give a shit about the fighters. They'll support the fighter, and then they'll jump off the bandwagon when they feel like, hey, I don't like this guy, but I like this guy now. You know, like, that's what the fans do. If you look at NFL in America, right?
Yeah, you're a huge NFL fan.
Me, NFL, NFL is the most violent sport, I think, on the planet.
What? How can you compare NFL to UFC?
Because if you look at the NFL, these guys go out there for 2 hours, 3 hours, and hit each other in the head continuously. Think about that.
That's true. Yeah.
And they're wearing helmets, yes, but that helmet is just like a little protection. But they're clashing heads. Everybody is. People just think, oh, this guy is hitting this guy, and that's what they clash. No, everybody's clashing heads all the time. When the guy says hike and the ball comes up and the quarterback grabs it, people are clashing heads continuously for how long the play goes on. And if you look at the fans of that sport, they don't give a shit about the players. You don't see guys out there fucking protesting, saying like, "Oh, this sport." I'm talking about the fans. This sport is so violent. We need to make changes to make it safe. We need to, you don't see that. You just see the fans just screaming and yelling when there is violence, when there is a big hit, and like respecting those guys and pumping them up, right? And that's 90% of fans.
Man, I just have a little bit of a head cinema going on in my brain. How funny would it be if you have like 2-3 people going to a UFC event or whatever fight event, and maybe I should just make a shirt for the next Full Metal Dojo event, Halloween as far as we know, and just have a shirt that says "Stop the Violence," and just protest a little bit.
Or you could get a shirt that says, "I'm part of the 10%."
Yeah, man, I totally see your point, and you're totally correct. And I don't want to sound like a dick, but I'm exactly the same. I want to be entertained, man, and that's what it's all about. That's why they make loads of money, at least most of them. And also, I don't always believe that it is correct. What gets out there, what money they make, because nobody steps in there for a little amount of money. There must be something more valuable to it.
Yeah, and I respect like the fighters that go out there, have a game plan and execute and like have flawless technique. But not every fighter is, gifted like that. Not every fighter is developed to that level where they can do those types of things. There's only certain guys at certain levels, and even those guys eventually those skills deteriorate as time goes. Right? What happened?
Yeah, sorry. We're watching the fights on the side. Those guys are throwing down. We are watching Ford versus, what's his name? Ford versus Silva. Yellow versus black.
Isn't it over?
No, well, you are always 10 seconds ahead of me, but for me, I still see them fighting. Font versus Silva are still going on. We are at round number... I have no idea what round number we're on.
Pettis and Miller is about to fight right now.
You see, then you're ahead of me. My stream is behind. God damn it!
You're gonna fight another one. You're gonna fight another one because Pettis and Showtime Pettis and Miller's about to start. This is gonna be a good fucking fight right here.
Well, don't say anything because I'm still watching the fight before. I have a little bit more entertaining for a little bit longer than you. Yeah. And talking about entertainment here, I once again want to give a shout out to the guys from Power Mac that made my laptop work yesterday. They changed my screen. I got a free battery, man. They changed the fan inside of my laptop and made it work because yesterday, again, my old laptop crashed, and it just keeps amazing me how those guys bring this back to life over and over again. So if you're in Bangkok, you need your Mac fixed, go to Power Mac at Fortune Town. Shout out to those guys. And no, I'm not, and yes, I'm not getting paid for saying this. I just believe in awesome service and skills, and those guys definitely have it down. And yeah, now the fight is over. Now we move on to Pettis. With Nunes and Shevchenko dropping out, what is your fight that you are looking forward to the most, except for Romero Whittaker? Because we all look forward to that fight. But I mean, we have Verdum versus Overeem is probably the one that I'm looking forward to. And then the one that's about to come next, Pettis versus Miller.
Yeah, I think that Pettis versus Miller is going to be a fight that is... I think I'm looking forward to the most. Is the reason why is where these guys are at in their careers. Pettis is a former champ. He just went down to featherweight and fought for the interim title and lost. And to be honest with you, that was a big mistake, and he knows that because he cut too much weight. And I think cutting too much weight nowadays is not actually beneficial anymore. It's actually detrimental to your performance, and I think Pettis realized that. So I think Pettis is really hungry to come up, and Miller, he's on his second leg of his career. He's been fighting the UFC for like, I think almost 10 years. That's fucking crazy to say, somebody that's been fighting
Yeah.
They've been fighting for 10 years in the UFC.
Yeah, Joe Rogan said it early on the broadcast today that your high performance span is 9 years. Everything outside of that, you slowly go down. So some people just don't know where to quit or when to quit. You know what I mean? But on the other hand, your second run can just start at year 7, and then you just kind of need to keep going. And you said something that I want to come back to, weight cutting. In my opinion, it's never beneficial to cut weight a big amount, because you just weaken your body straight before you actually have to perform on the highest level. For me, that's just stupid. And I talked to several people, Rich Franklin, Olivier Coste, the referee of One Championship. And I know, by the way, that is something I wanted to talk. No, I just want to give you support for what you guys said on your latest podcast on Kumite Radio, about Shimada. It's I'm not a big fan of Shimada, man. I have to be honest. He always stands in my way when I take photos, and I think it's just I don't know, not a big fan of him.
He's fucking up your performance.
He's fucking up my performance, exactly. I can live with if I fuck up my own performance, but not if somebody else is there. I don't know. It's just something that I don't agree with, and there's something weird about him. The way he does his job, you know. It's just weird.
He talks too much.
Yes, I agree.
He talks too much, and he's like looking at the screen. I watch him sometimes, and he's not even watching the fighters. He's looking at the screen to look at himself. It's weird. Like, some of the things that he does, man, it's just... And, yeah, like I said, like, in one fight, he'll let a dude get fucking punched 25 times unanswered, and in the other fight, he fucking separates them when they're trying to do something. It's like, it's either or. Like, the last One Championship was fucking crazy, right? Like, the first round of the main event, he fucking, you know, like, he fucking beat the shit out of him for that first round, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you always see about Big Dash. You always see him, like, get hurt.
Yeah, you know, Big Dash is a little bit like the Gaethje of One Championship.
Yeah, and he comes back, but the thing is, he never came back in the last fight. And if it was UFC judging, I think that Big Dash would have won that fight, because he won like the rounds. It wasn't like dominant rounds, but he won most of the rounds, I believe. But since it's One Championship judging, it's like the old Pride judging, where you're judging on like how much you hurt the guy and how you know, how close were you to finish the guy and stuff like that. Of course, the Burmese Python was the guy that did the most, you know, damage or the most fucking harm, or was the closest to finish the fight. So I never would disagree on the decision that they made, and it's huge for him and his country.
Of course,
man, it's just huge, man. It's just huge for them. But who is he gonna fight next? You know, that's the big question.
Well, I don't think that is such a big question, because first of all, we have the Polish dude, whatever his name is, I forgot, who was supposed to fight.
See, that's the problem. We don't even know who the Polish dude's name is. Like,
well, that is our mistake of not doing the research. But he's gonna fight at the next card in Indonesia. He's gonna co-headline, and he was actually supposed to fight Big Dash for the title in January. But then Aung La replaced him, because he had to pull out because of an injury. And here's a little inside information. A little bird tweeted to me that Aung La's management was actually smart enough to say, hey, we're gonna fight Big Dash on short notice, but we want to have a rematch in the contract. That's why Aung La got to fight Big Dash in Myanmar. And then if you don't have the Polish guy, let's say the Polish dude loses, I think there's a trilogy fight right there. I mean, if we ask ourselves who just made a big point for trilogy fights, there was you, John. So why not having
it.
Yeah, dude, I would pay for that too.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I like them to put and then this time what they need to do is have Big Dash fight on short notice.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, like, just put it, like, that should have been in the contract.
Yeah, don't anybody tell Big Dash that he's gonna fight within 12-hour notice.
Exactly. They're going to set the fight up with the Polish guy, and then, like, 2 weeks later, or 2 weeks before the fight, or a week before the fight, they're going to say, oh, the Polish guy's injured, and now Big Dash is going to replace him, and that's the trilogy bout. And it sets it up perfectly, the story, right? And they're fighting in fucking Thailand would be a good spot to fight in.
Yeah, but that is not before December 9th, when one championship is coming back to Bangkok. The next one is in Indonesia. Then we have Kuala Lumpur, Shanghai, Indonesia again, Beijing. Well, Yangon is coming up again, November 3rd, but that would be unfair to Big Dash if you make him fight twice in the Python's house.
Hey, who do you think is gonna win, Pettis or Miller?
I got Pettis on this one, to be honest.
Oh, you do? I think Pettis is gonna win with a head kick knockout. This is my prediction. But the fight starts.
This highlight reel, man, that just keeps him carrying through all his career. But again,
oh, Pettis?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pettis has a sick ass highlight reel.
That's true. They just have the promo running here for John Jones versus Cormier. And it looks fucking great. They have fire and shit and all this kind of stuff. I like the poster, by the way, for UFC 214.
Yeah. You know, going back to Shevchenko, right, in the 125-pound division. You know, Shevchenko's, she was on weight for the past 2 weeks. Did you know this? She was 135 for the past 2 weeks. She didn't even cut weight.
That is crazy. I heard that she had a very easy weight cut, but I didn't know that she was on weight for so long.
No, she didn't even cut weight. Like, there was no weight cut. She's been 135 for the past 2 weeks.
That's
a little
crazy.
birdie told me.
How long do you how much do you think Nunes has to cut? Because she didn't look well on the weigh-ins.
Yeah, she's cutting like, I'm pretty sure she's cutting around like more than 5 kilos. You know, and that's not easy on one night. You know what I mean? In one night, and I think that's what she's cutting in one night.
That's crazy, because I watched the pictures this morning with all the articles that were written when they announced that she pulled out of the fight, and looking back at the way, and she does not look healthy. There's just something in her eyes. She looks like
she was surprised when she weighed in.
Well, again, I'm not a big fan of weight cutting. I think they should just skip it and change the rules to something more natural. I mean,
well, I think they should add more weight classes.
What about?
That would help.
That's true. I agree.
And you have more champions, and then every card could have a title, and I think that would make it better. And then you'd have like fighters holding like 2 titles at the same time, and that would just become a normal thing. I think that's cool.
But don't you think that would get too boring? Because I think I don't know who said this, but I totally agree.
Why would a title be boring?
Because if you see a fucking title fight every week or every second week, it takes away the build-up, you know, of, oh, when is the next title fight? I mean, look at UFC 214 now. That is, the next 2 weeks are just gonna be insane, because there's like 3 title fights on there. If you have that happening on every fight card, it sucks, man. It's the same thing. Maybe a bad example, but if you have a woman sucking your dick every day
Oh, you watching this shit?
What?
I'm fucking throw it down.
Shut up, man. I'm still behind. They haven't even started on my screen.
What time? Oh, really? They're already like 3 minutes in right now.
God damn it.
Bro.
Well, I'm looking
How are you 3 minutes behind? Fuck.
I'm looking forward to see your reaction. So it's a good fight, huh?
Hey, you want me to send you the link?
Yeah, please send me the link.
Alright, I'll type.
Because I'm watching on a different link here. And I wanted to ask you something more about... about the refereeing system, the judging, the scoring. Which one do you prefer, the UFC one or the One Championship one, where they score not rounds as they do in the UFC, but at One Championship they score the whole fight? And who was closer to a finish also?
I don't like any of the judging. I like my own that I created in my mind.
And how does that look like?
Okay, I just sent you the link.
Alright, I got it.
The one that I created, I don't know if I created it, but it probably sounds similar to someone else's. What I would do is like, there would be 3 judges like normal, and then I think in title fights there should be 5 judges.
Why would that? What makes? I don't understand. Why don't you have 5 judges for all the fights?
Because I don't know. I don't like. Not everything I say is logical.
Okay, so keep on going. 3 judges for normal fights and 5 judges for
3
title
judges.
fights.
1 judge is gonna be just strictly focused on the striking. Another judge is strictly focused on the grappling. Right.
That makes sense.
And one other judge is focused on like damage and stuff like that, like how hurt they were and stuff like that. And then that's the judging criteria. Like, and then the judges will just focus on one thing. They don't even have to look at the other stuff.
You know, that's quite funny because hashtag no racist, but you are Korean, and what you just said reminds me very much of a scoring system that has been developed in breaking, in b-boying, in breakdance, for the people who don't know what b-boying means. R16 was the one, or the first event that actually did exactly a scoring system like that, where they had several judges focusing on specifically on footwork, on power moves and all this kind of stuff, which equals in MMA striking, grappling, and so on. I really like that set. I really enjoy that. And then they should have a remote, and they should have that on the screen, and they can judge immediately, and the crowd can see it. So the fighters also know, oh, I need to be more offense, or I can slow it down a little bit. I like that system, man.
Yeah, and also like another thing that they should add is Pancrase in Japan.
Nope.
Pancrase, there's a promotion called Pancrase. It's the longest running MMA promotion ever. You gotta remember this. This is in Japan. Like all the old. It's been around for since the 90s, right? And it's still going. And their judging is like they show the scores in between rounds.
Yeah, I think they should do that.
So you know what the score is. They announce it in the arena and they show it on the screen. So like say the fighter is after the second round, they'll tell you the score. Like this round was won by Anthony Pettis. So the fighters will know who's winning the fight and who's not winning the fight. And I like that too.
Yeah, that's basically what I just said. I totally agree.
Yeah, because you said it. Yeah, but I'm just trying to give you an example of Pancrase. They actually do that also. And I think the way that I was talking about, and like you said in the b-boy, it's the same thing. Is like, of course you'd have to tweak it a little bit, but I think that focusing on certain aspects. Or maybe you should just have 5 judges, and maybe there should be other criteria. If you have 5 judges, you have other criteria. Like you add 2 more judges, and they have a criteria of something else and something else. I don't know. So it all depends.
So how do we get this out to the public, John? Because I really like this way of judging. And by the way, you just completely, I can't really make the stream working. I don't know what it is. Nothing appears.
Oh, really? Are you using Safari?
Ah, okay.
Go to Safari and use Safari, and then just click on the stuff, and there will be a bunch of links. And then I'll tell you which link it is. I'll tell you what number it is. It is like the second or third one down. It'll say like link 1 or whatever, and then another screen will pop up. Separate screen.
Okay, let me see. I try a little bit more, and we will see. I just need to rearrange my legs here. Let's get back to your judging system. How do we get this out to the public?
I don't know. I think we just got it out to the public.
We need to make some sort of promotion. Maybe I just put John's scoring system in my newsletter, which I send out at the end of every month.
Yeah, I think there has been somebody that has used or kind of developed a similar scoring system. I'm not for sure, but I'm pretty sure there's similar ones out there. And then I don't like this and I think they should do the 10 point scoring system with the one that I just mentioned, but be more flexible with it. Like give dudes 10-6 rounds. You know what I mean? Like it all depends. You gotta get more detailed, but.
It's also, I think it's also hard for judge. I mean, if you judge like this, you put the judges way more into the spotlight and getting more shit. And it's very difficult to be a judge or a referee. We have to say that as well, because no matter what you do, people will never be happy with your decision, because some way or somehow people just don't like facts. You know what I mean? Sometimes people just look past that. And I mean, look at the Lee fight against what's his name? What's his face again? A week ago, 2 weeks ago, when Lee fought and they stopped really early. What was that all about?
Lee? You're talking about Lee who?
What's his first name? The black dude who fought the bearded. What's his name? Let me see. was like 2 weeks ago. He had him in a choke, and the referee stopped too early without anybody tapping.
Kevin Lee, yeah.
Kevin Lee,
and
thank
Michael
you.
Chiesa. Michael Chiesa, yeah.
Chiesa, yeah. That is, for me, to be honest, man, that was a little bit more like protection of the fighter, because somehow, I don't know, I could see no way of how Chiesa could get out of there. That fight was basically over.
Well, you know, I thought that, you know, that one, he should have let him tap or go out. You got to let him tap or go out, man. It's not like, you know, you're protecting him by, you know, stopping the choke early. It's not like he was breaking his jaw; it was under his chin. But did you see the picture of him cheating? Like he bit his glove before he grabbed his hand.
What?
And, like, pulled his hand closer by biting his own glove.
No,
you didn't see that, huh?
No, I did not see that.
There's a picture out there of him, like, in that position right before he got that choke. He took his hand off the choke hand and bit his glove to pull his hand closer on his neck, and then grab the hand again. And you know, I don't know if that's, you know, like, that might be petty or whatever, but still, you should not be biting your own glove. It's just...
No, that is a little bit weird. It sounds a little bit like Mike Tyson biting somebody's ear. Sounds just
exactly
weird.
Well, that's crazy, but you know, like biting your own glove. But you know, like they always say, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. So.
and my dad always used to say, you only cheat when other people discover that you cheated.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
there's a lot of good sayings about cheating.
Talking about cheating, I would like to cheat a little bit with the stream. I just can't get it working, man. I feel like George Hickman right now.
Oh shit.
Romantic George. Or
well,
wait a second.
You shouldn't click on the first one. The first one is always like tricky. It's like the couple ones down. It's the best.
Well, it tells me to sign up to keep on going.
Oh yeah, you don't need to sign up. Damn, you sound like George right now.
I know. It makes me feel bad. I'm more technical than Romantic George. For the people who don't know what we're talking about our last phone companion, where we basically spent an hour and a half just to try to get George Hickman use Skype, and then, yeah, the same amount of time again to actually make the live stream work for him. Not the most talented guy for actually handling technology stuff, and that's why I feel a little bit bad, because I was making fun of him last time, and now I'm here in the same position and I can't make it work.
Are you at the one where it says LSH streams or live D share? Like, those are the ones that are probably better.
Well, I clicked on the link that you did send me, and then there's a bunch of links below, and I'm at the fourth one right now.
Okay.
So I'm moving my way forward.
Work in progress.
It's going forward, but it keeps, I mean, all of them kind of work, but they all tell me the user is not found. To continue stream, please sign up for free. I don't.
Yeah, going back to Shevchenko too, like I heard that from her sister. Her sister's I think it's her older sister. She's also like a world champion Muay Thai kickboxer. You know, she's like supposedly transitioning over to MMA also.
Yes.
But she, in her interview, she was saying that Shevchenko, she's gonna probably end up dropping down to 125, because, you know, 135 is the only reason she is at 135 is because there's no 125. So if she wins the title at 135, she'll probably fight and then end up dropping down to 125 and fighting down there too.
Now
so it's still a lot of exciting fights to happen with Shevchenko and Joanna. Like you said, they're gonna meet in the middle, and that's gonna be awesome. I think it's in the plans probably for the next, you know, a year or two. So we'll probably end up seeing that fight anyways.
Now that would be fucking amazing if you have Shevchenko winning the title against Nunes and then dropping down, and seeing them both fight, Joanna and Shevchenko, because I enjoy seeing both of them, and then for 2 belts. That would be fucking amazing, and that is a trilogy right there, because if that happens, they're definitely gonna give it a rematch. It's not gonna be like Conor McGregor versus Alvarez, where it's basically not even talks about a rematch, and there don't need to be any talks about a rematch with Alvarez.
Exactly. Well, you know, like there's gonna be 4 weight divisions for the women by the end of the year, and that means more titles, more awesome fights. You know, there's going to be like legit champions in all 4 weight classes. You got, of course right now you got Nunez, and you're going to have Cyborg fighting for the title, and I'm pretty sure, and even Cyborg, she's fighting her opponent changes. Talking about the most like unfortunate fighter is Cyborg, I think, out of anybody fighter in the UFC or
I totally agree.
In the UFC.
I totally agree.
Unfortunate everything that happens to her, but but anyways, yeah, she'd probably end up being the champion over there. You got some legit women champions, man.
But that brings me back to the subject where we cut off shortly before here. Do you think it would still be exciting to constantly have title fights on and constantly have big cards on? Because that can get quite boring if you have that happening every weekend, every second weekend. I kind of need that feeling of, oh shit man, 3 more weeks to go until I see Cormier versus Jones. This kind of stuff wouldn't be there, and I think this is what makes a fight exciting. So what are your thoughts on, you said it, to have more title fights, to have a title fight on every card? I don't agree, man. I think that would be boring in the long run, or actually make more damage to the UFC or any promotion.
Well, I don't think so. The reason why is because no matter what, the storyline for the light heavyweight championship between Cormier and Jones is going to be the same. So you're going to be excited no matter what, even though there is a title coming. Even though there's another title fight happening at, like, let's say a super super middleweight title. Say that they made a super middleweight title at like 195, right? And if there's a title going on over there, say that title is being fought by, Anderson Silva versus somebody, who knows, whoever the fighters would be to fight for that title. But even though they're fighting, it does not change anything about Jones Cormier and the hype that's going to be surrounded by them. I don't think so. I think if there's a good fight that's going to happen, it's going to be a good title fight no matter what. And of course, there's going to be certain title fights people don't care about. Just like even right now, like Mighty Mouse, people don't care about Mighty Mouse.
I think people actually care more about Mighty Mouse than people think. Again,
I do. I think Mighty Mouse is the best fighter in the world.
Oh yeah, for sure. I totally agree. But again, we don't need to close that down to Cormier versus Jones. It's just the feeling of, oh shit, there is no fight this weekend, or I have to wait 2-3 more weeks. Or Pettis is doing crazy shit again on the mat. It's the same with Full Metal Dojo, for example. If you would have a Full Metal Dojo every weekend, it would be like, fuck man, I'm still on my hangover from the last one. I kind of want to take a break this weekend.
Well, of course, like, you want to take breaks, once in a while, but what can you do? To like make the cards better. Don't make more cards. I don't think they should make more events. I just think that they should make each event have a title.
Okay.
If they have more weight classes, and then every main event you could have, because like certain fights that are not even for the title, there's a lot of hype for them. Like say, the recent like Mark Hunt fight, right? Like say like Mark Hunt, no matter Mark Hunt is fighting, whoever Mark Hunt is fighting, people want to watch it no matter what, right?
Yeah, true. Same as yesterday.
Fighters, so there's certain fighters that if they had the title, or they would draw no matter what, and having the title would just make it better, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I can see a point. I was misunderstanding you. I thought you wanted to have more events with more title fights each and every time. I think that would be boring. No. I mean, Chatri has been announcing that for one championship as well several times. He would like to have an event every weekend. But here it's a little bit different, because in Asia they switch from country to country. It's not the same as in the States.
Every weekend would just be oversaturated. Even the UFC is oversaturated, but for most people. And having like a event, that's 56 events a year. That's fucking nuts.
I know, but Asia is a big market, man. That's why I mean it's a little bit different in Asia, because it allows you to do more. Because the people who, for example, in the Philippines watch a Eduard Foloyang, for you, again, I need to pay a little note to your last episode there. Eduard Foloyang is the Filipino champion.
Yeah.
They do not necessarily watch Aung La in Myanmar. And by the way, just a little drop in here, Aung La is going to be on the Surrounded by Details podcast tomorrow, Monday, 7 o'clock Bangkok time, 8 o'clock Bangkok time, 9 o'clock Singapore time, and 9 a.m. Maryland, US of A time. So we have Aung La on the podcast. The man who made history is gonna make history again by coming on the Surrounded by Details podcast.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations to him, man.
But always difficult to interview. I had him on the podcast before, and he's kind of not a very talkative person. So I'm always looking forward to talk to him because he's fun. He has great humor, and at the same time, he's very calm and very silent sometimes. So it's gonna be very interesting. And where are you at your live watching right now? Because I see Joe Rogan interviewing Pettis.
Yeah, I'm right there.
Okay.
You're at the same as me.
Okay, cool.
So that was a good fight, man. There was a lot of action. Of course, Pettis won. He didn't finish him, but that was a great performance by Pettis. Man, it was a fight that went back and forth because also, again, Pettis did some weird shit and then his opponent did the same weird shit, and of everything I just saw because I was struggling with going back and forth to streams, seemed that I missed a very exciting fight. Yeah, Pettis, I think he proved. I think he just needed to get that win, so he didn't take his chances. But I thought that Pettis did a great job, and Miller, he's so tough.
Yeah,
Miller's like that Joe Lauzon and those types of guys. So it sucks for Miller because he's a guy that you can't root against really, because he's just a guy that always goes out there and puts it on the line. There you go, another guy.
Cody, man. Did you see that funny YouTube stuff that is going on with him? And there's Kevin Lee in the background, by the way.
Oh, is he?
There's my boy Max Holloway. Ba-boom. That's the dude, man. He has a bright future. He's gonna be on top there for a long time. But I said this about Big Dash as well, and I got very surprised. Romantic George actually picked Aung La to win.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I was surprised by that because not many actually picked Aung La. Which I'm gonna ask him about tomorrow, what he thought about this, because he seemed like the underdog even on his home turf. There was something that I was going to ask you, but I forgot what it was, so it can't be anything important. What is up next here on the UFC card? Let me go over. We just had Pettis versus Miller, and next up we have, holy shit, that's a crazy day, Omelanchuk versus Blades. I don't know anything about either one of them.
Well, both these guys are like up and coming guys. They got signed. I think both of them have a couple fights, and they both have. I think both of them have like knockout wins.
Okay.
But as for potential, I think Blades has more potential.
The
long name guy.
The long name guy. I'm gonna try it again here just for you. Omelanchuk. Maybe a little bit more Polish dialect in there. Hashtag not a racist. They get moved up because of the cancelled fight between Lawler and Cerrone Cowboy. They came up to the main card, and they are basically the co-main event. Things can switch fast sometimes.
Well, Blades has had a unusual. Blades is he's still real young. He's only 26. He's had an unusual career so far in the UFC. His debut was against Ngannou. You know who Ngannou is? He's
What a beast.
Big heavyweight monster.
Yeah.
He got wrecked. He got wrecked by Ngannou. And then he came back and defeated Cody East with elbows.
Yeah.
And in his last fight, it was a no contest due to an injury. So he's had a loss, he's had a win, and he's had a no injury or a no contest. So his career has been kind of unsafe, but he has potential. He just ran into a beast in his first fight in the UFC. The other guy, he's much older. He's like 10 years older, and he's lost 2 in a row in the UFC so far. And and it doesn't look so good for him as his potential. But you never know with these guys. But this guy's been in the UFC for a while. He's had
he's ranked number 15.
He's had 9 fights in the UFC. The other guy.
You mean the Polish dude?
Yeah, the Polish guy. He's had 9 fights so far, and he's basically 50-50.
Yeah, no, he's 19. Well, in the UFC maybe, but his record is 19-7-1.
In the UFC, he's 50-50.
Mm.
So, and all of his wins, well, he knocks them out or he decisions them, which is like mostly what the heavyweight division is all about, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's all about fast fights. Would you buy a ticket to a heavyweight fight, knowing that there will probably most likely 99% be a fast knockout? I mean, doesn't that make more fun to watch in a bar and then save the money for the expensive tickets instead, or would you buy a ticket?
Well, it all depends on who's fighting, right?
Let's say Mark Hunt versus Stipe Miocic. Oh no, wait.
Oh, I would buy the ticket.
I think everybody would.
Yeah, like if it's like one of those kind of fights, or if one of the guys is just like, you know, a monster, they're gonna bang and they're not just gonna sit there and lay on each other. And it's a heavyweight bout, of course. I would. Oh, they just announced the Sydney card for November 19th.
Oh, who's fighting on that one?
Oh, they haven't announced who's fighting, but they announced that they are going to have a Sydney.
Oh, there we go. July. Oh yeah, too fast, too quick for me because I'm looking.
19th.
Yeah, I'm looking at the stats here for, versus Polish dude and Blades. Let's just call them Daniel and Curtis. That's easier to remember the names. Daniel is the Polish dude, Curtis is the American dude. And Curtis is actually on a 100% finishing rate. That is crazy.
Yeah, he's only had 1 loss.
He's 7-1.
It was to Ngannou. So.
What do you think about Ngannou?
Oh man, that is the man. That is the man, the myth. The guy with the most potential, the guy that everybody's basically, he's the new Rumble Johnson.
Now, talking about Rumble Johnson, he was at the fights yesterday. Do you really believe in his retirement? Because I don't think he is done. I think he will definitely come back at some point. He just needs a break.
Oh yeah, he will.
Yeah.
Especially, I think that with like the fight with John Jones that never happened. I think it will happen. I think he'll come back and they're gonna offer him, because you know the UFC is owned by they have new owners, so those guys are willing probably to spend the money to bring Johnson back to create that kind of fight, because they know that there's a lot of hype for it. So
yeah, maybe
Johnson probably will be back.
Yeah, maybe he just has a smart management and knows that, hey, at some point they're gonna ask me, because he seems pretty convinced over that Jones wins this. So hey, maybe we just bring it back and wait until Jones wins, and then boom, make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Our stream. Yeah, just to mention for our audience, our stream here just cut shortly in between, but it keeps on rolling, I hope. Now that sucks a little bit, because that means I have to upload all this video later on. But as we learned from last mistakes, we actually record at the same time as we stream, so we can upload it later on. I wonder though, no. Never mind. I'm thinking too far ahead. I should focus on what we are actually doing here, and we are watching the UFC. So that means I have to go back to the live stream. They're walking in at the moment. Going ahead a little bit here, who do you got for Verdum versus Overeem?
Oh, I got Overeem winning that one.
Why?
I think Overeem's striking is much more technical, and if you notice in Overeem's fights, in his last few fights, that he is very cautious and he's very picky in his strikes, and that has helped him win a lot of every fight he has won in the last few fights. He's used his striking, you know, and his little slick like angles and stuff like that and kicks to beat the guys that he's beaten. The only guys that has beaten him are the guys that have one punch knockout power, which is like a Stipe. And Verdum doesn't have that one punch knockout power. So that's why I believe that Overeem will be able to weather the storm. And on the ground, Overeem's good enough to where he's not going to get caught in like any submissions or something like that.
Why? Again, we are in the mixed martial arts here. You never know, man. You never fucking know.
Oh, you never know. But I'm saying like Overeem has fought Verdum before.
Oh yeah, true. They fought before. That's true. I totally missed that out. It's their second fight, right? Or the third fight? No, second.
I think it's their second fight, but maybe their third. I'm not for sure.
Well, it seems to me that Verdum seems a little bit like the Jose Aldo of the division, because he's very, very frustrated with his loss against Stipe Miocic, that he got caught there, and he can't. He seemed like he can't really let it go. So you think that is a bad thing, because he seems to look only at Stipe Miocic and just seems to see Overeem as another step to come back to Stipe Miocic.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that he's going to get the Stipe Miocic fights right away.
Well, I think if he wins over Overeem, what else? Who else do they want to fight him?
Ngannou.
Ah, you really think so?
Well, I think Ngannou's not going to fight for the title right away. They're going to make him fight at least 2 more times. I think he has a fight. Oh, Ngannou is going to fight JDS. And what most likely is going to happen is Ngannou's going to fucking
rip JDS apart.
Yeah, JDS in the first round. And then they're going to maybe fight 1 more time. And then the Stipe match will eventually happen. That's just a prediction of mine. But yeah, I think that the next champion, if Ngannou gets past JDS,
which is basically out of question. I think that is a pretty sure fight.
You think so?
Yeah,
and
I
then
think so.
JDS, or no, not JDS. Stipe versus Ngannou is gonna be a crazy fight. I think that they both have a chance to beat each other.
Oh, dude, that would be a fucking insane fight. But I think with Ngannou, it's a little bit. I don't know, man. Maybe he's dangerous in the first 2 rounds, 3 rounds, but he's so big, man. What happens if the fight goes into the 4th round, 5th round? I know we talk heavyweight here, that is not very likely, but what if? Because a lot of heavyweights seem to lose breath or air when it comes to these championship rounds.
You're true, you're right. They do get gassed, but yeah, you never know with him. You never know, but he changed camps though. Now he's training in Las Vegas, so he's taking the steps to improve himself. And think about it. In Las Vegas, they have the Performance Institute, where you can go and like test everything for free if you're a UFC fighter.
Yeah.
And use all their facilities, and their facilities is fucking crazy.
Yeah, I saw the video, man. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, that's gonna help him a lot too. So, but in MMA, you know that nobody ever goes undefeated. So he's gonna lose, and it all depends on who he's going to lose to. Well, it could be to Kane, it could be to Miocic, it could be to it could be to somebody that you never expected. Like it happens all the time in the UFC or in MMA where like TJ Dillashaw came in and fought Renan Barão, and nobody really knew who TJ Dillashaw was at that time. They knew, but they didn't know that he was gonna come out and fight in that style.
Yeah.
And then when he came out and just fucking destroyed Renan Barão, which Renan Barão was on like a 30-fight win streak at that time. So, MMA, like you said, MMA is unpredictable, and that's what's gonna happen with Ngannou. Everybody's gonna be like, Ngannou's he's the predator.
Yeah, he's the freaks of the freaks. Joe Rogan recently said that Joel Romero is the freaks of the freaks. And a lot of people always think that Romero is on steroids, but he is being tested. I mean, if you look like like Romero do, you're definitely gonna be tested a bunch of times.
But the thing is, if you look at his videos from wrestling and stuff like that, he's looked like that the whole time.
Yeah, some people just have a weird body stature.
Well, not weird. It's just like some people just are gifted in that way. I wish I had that body.
Well, weird. Well, that would look very funny. You as a Korean, we have a guy here. I don't want to name any names, but here in Thailand there is a bodybuilder, and it just looks funny, man. Every time I see a advertisement of him or commercial, I just have to fucking giggle and laugh because his body is like huge and his head is just like a tennis ball. It looks amazing, man. It's really funny.
Yeah, I had a friend in the States. He's a Mexican, but he had like a small like pinhead.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about him is he had a small pinhead, but he was really fat, right? Like he probably weighed like 260 pounds, and he was only maybe 170, 170 centimeters. Is that what it said? Yeah. 1.7 meters. But tall, right? And then what was funny about him is he had this small head, but then he realized, like, in his like early 20s, that he had to change himself. So what he would do is he would go to the gym, but at midnight every night, because he was embarrassed to work out in front of other people, and at midnight there's nobody there, so he'd go work out at midnight every night. And then in a year span, he became jacked. Like, he was like 6-pack, everything, like in a year.
Yeah.
He developed himself, right? And now, instead of being a big fat guy with a small head, he was a big muscular guy with a small head.
What is worse, man? What is worse?
I don't know.
That is funny, man. Man,
yeah, go ahead.
No, I just remember a dude in school. He was like a big dude, but he talked like this. This was very funny. And he was very funny because he was kind of the bully, in school. But I don't know. Many people just laughed at him. That's probably why he bullied other people, because he was just such a huge guy for his age. Some kids, they are 13, 14, and they're just fucking like grown-up heavyweights. And then he had this funny voice all the time. And yeah, I would probably bully people too if I sound like that.
Yeah, it's funny, like, what people hide behind,
Yeah, you never know, man. It's the same when you go into a subway, or when you walk along the streets. You always judge people in general, like, oh yeah, I'm traveling, I'm so open-minded, I know what the world is about, and you kind of judge other people all the time that they don't have the world view as you have. I mean, you have been traveling, I have been traveling a lot, and when I go back, I think this constantly, man. It's like, yeah, man, I've seen fucking Asia, I've been with different cultures, and I've seen other parts of the world. I know how people work, and for somebody who works in the office from 8 to 5, you don't really know what's going on, but that's just so wrong and so judgmental. So sometimes I keep myself catching I catch myself doing that, and that's not a good thing to do. But of course, when you have a certain attitude, which is called human being, then you think like that sometimes. Sorry, I'm so focused on the fight here at the same time as I try to sound smart.
It's to be honest with you, like, it's part of human nature to judge each other. And you can't. It's like, you could say and you could think, like, I'm not going to judge people and stuff like that. And but you do. It's just natural. Even think about it, like a long time ago. If you saw, like, a long time ago, before we were even existing, like before, like, let's go back to the caveman days. You don't think the cavemans were like judging each other by looking at each other from a distance, like, hey, look at that skinny fuck. I'm gonna go take his fucking, his meat that he just, caught.
I'm gonna choke him out.
Fuck, and just judge. Yeah, you're just judging them by the way they look, but they don't know that skinny fuck has skills, arrow skills, or harpoon skills, or I don't know what the fuck skills it is. But
yeah, keep on going. This is interesting.
Judging can make it to where, like, you could underestimate people or overestimate people. You know what I mean? It all depends, right? So you might look at a big dude and you're like, damn, that dude's fucking huge, but you don't know that he's just a big fat slob. Like, you don't know how to do anything. He's just big. So yeah, judging is just part of nature, and I guess, like you said, you catch yourself doing it, but it's just limiting it. Like, try not to do it as much. I think that's the most important thing.
Well, I think as long as you catch yourself while you do this thing, this is what I call self-awareness, because everybody has bad habits and everybody is guilty of it. Some more, some less, but what separates some people from others is actually that moment of self-awareness where they realize, hey, I'm doing that right now, and that's not a good thing to do. Because it's difficult to keep up that kind of thinking all the fucking time. So you just need those small moments where you're actually aware of that and realize, hey, I did something wrong, and then next time you are aware of that a little bit longer. That's a good fight going on here, by the way.
Yeah. And they're mixing it up, like they're using the wrestling and throwing bombs at the same time, and cage work.
I want to go back to your caveman theory there and judging, because I think that has also something to do with surviving, because you need to judge. for example, you're a caveman and then you see a lion coming and you say, oh, that looks friendly, I go and pet it. That's not a good thing. You need to judge, in this case, as danger in order to survive. And that's my mistake that I do in MMA a lot, because I judge a lot by how people look. You know, like a Mark Hunt. I would never say a Mark Hunt can win a fight, but again, he does.
Yeah. You're just like, hey, he's real ugly, so he must know how to fight.
Yeah, just look at the face. And talking about ugly, who's the prettiest fighter in MMA? I would definitely say Conor McGregor.
Oh, prettiest? Like handsomest you're talking about?
Yeah, hashtag not gay.
Oh, handsomest fighter?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you I don't know. It's like you got Alan Jabot. He's like a model. He's like a Versace model, so he's like,
that's the dude with the hair, right?
High level. Yeah, well, yeah, the guy that does like you know Karen Bryant?
I'm so bad with names. Wait, let me Google
Yeah,
that.
Karen Bryant is the female journalist or anchor or whatever.
Okay.
She's black and she does a show with Alan Joban. He's a welterweight in the UFC.
Karen Bryant, how do I spell that? I have no idea.
Karen, K-A-R.
I put a double R in there. I'm not sure if that's correct.
But yeah, she does a show with him, and he's like a Versace model from what I heard. He's pretty handsome. I don't know. Like, I guess it all depends on what kind of handsome you like.
Well, why are we talking about this in general? I just wondered. Why did I bring this up? Who's the prettiest? Who's the prettiest female UFC fighter?
I have no idea. Like, there are, you know, like, I don't know. I think that I don't know. Michelle Watterson's kind of pretty.
That's true. The karate hottie. And talking about the karate hottie, I actually just googled female MMA fighters, and then you said Watterson, and I just kept typing female MMA fighters. And she just went into the nude issue of ESPN.
Yeah.
Let me check those
That's
pictures.
Nice.
Yeah, I think.
Nice. And she's had a baby already too. So.
Yeah, and she ripped apart Angela Lee in an interview recently.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she was over here like promoting like something. I don't know what she was promoting, but yeah, she was over here. Yeah, she ripped apart because she doesn't know who Angela Lee is. So I guess you know, if you don't know who somebody is, you can't really praise them for anything, right?
Yeah, that's true. But on the other hand, you are not a fucking Google library. You don't need to know everybody. You know what I mean? And I think she is not the kind of person, Watterson, that is constantly following MMA news.
No, but most fighters are not.
Yeah.
Most fighters, when you meet them, they don't really know what's going on in MMA. They just know what they're doing
That's
or what
true.
their promotion is doing. So, you know, it's. I guess it all depends on like who wrote the article and how they wrote the article, you know, and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, but again,
you know,
I agree. She's definitely one of the hottest one.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but I don't know. There's a bunch of other girls, but I just don't remember their names. Like, I don't think Paige Van Zandt is that hot at all.
I haven't paid too much attention to Paige Van Zandt, but I'm not into blonde.
She's an all-American. She looks like the all-American girl or whatever, and I think that's why they promote her so much. But to be honest with you, I don't think she's that hot at all. Like, it's just, you know, she's not like terrible. You know, she's not a grenade.
You would, well, in Germany we have a saying: you would not push her from the bed edge. You know what I mean?
No, of course not. But you know, like, I don't think, you know. But she has that like perfect image to promote, I think.
Yeah, she does dance and looks pretty and can fight and also spectacular. I mean, her last knockout was a wheel kick, or what was it? Some sort of kick.
It was like a switch kick.
Switch kick, yeah.
Knock.
So that's spectacular, and that is always easy to promote. That's what Dana White said yesterday about Gaethje, because if you have a fight like this, man, that's easy to promote. You have a fucking beast, it's bloody, it's dramatic, that's what people want to see, that is what makes it easy to promote. But unfortunately, not everybody is born with a talent like this, so sometimes you gotta make up shit, and that is what the UFC is about. There's loads of stuff being made up, and I don't know if I like that.
I don't know if they're making. What do you mean making up stuff?
I mean, a lot of drama is unnecessary that they make up just in order to have a storyline. And they are fucking throwing down here.
Yeah.
No, but it's all about drama, and this is what makes Conor McGregor so successful. Even if he's not fighting, he's always being talked about. You know what I mean?
Well, he's a, what do you say? He's a anomaly. He's one of those, like, he's a comet. He's something that comes out once in a while. He's Haley's.
Oh shit! Holy shit! Did you see that kick in the nuts? That was straight in the nuts. He was aiming for that.
He was aiming for that.
Dude, 100%. He was not even trying to throw another kick. What the fuck? He was just, take that, you little fuck. Straight between the
They're
legs.
grinding out this fight, man. These guys are just, like, mixing it up real well with each other. This was pretty good matchmaking, because not one dude is just knocking the other dude out real quick.
But again, is that what the audience wants, or do they really want a knockdown? I mean, a stiff knockdown is missing. I think we're gonna see that with Verdum versus Overeem.
Oh yeah. Well, with this fight, what I think is, like, this is a good fight. The reason why is if this, like, it actually goes into the third round, right? And one of these guys comes out and he, finishes the fight, which makes the fight even greater. There's like a build up, within the fight. They're like going back and forth, trading, mixing it up against the fence and punching each other and kneeing. Oh, that's a hard knee right there.
Oh yes.
On the replay.
Now.
But yeah, like, if they finish each other right here, then it becomes like a fight of the night in a way,
Yeah, last time we had the chainsaw in the background. Now we have somebody hammering outside here. What the fuck is going on?
I thought that was a bird.
No, that's not a bird. But I have to say, they're very close to finishing the building where I just moved into. So it's a really nice place, and I kind of accept it. Even though it's Buddha holiday, I have no idea why you're hammering on a fucking holiday, and it's Sunday too. But again, in Thailand, nobody really cares.
Nobody does, huh?
And I think also the audience can't really hear that, because the noise gate will take it out later on. Only you and me can hear that in our headphones.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. I noticed that when you upload it again, those background noises don't come out really at all.
Well, I don't really upload it again. Once I live stream, the video basically archived itself over the live stream on YouTube, and OBS, the open broadcast software that I use, they have a audio mix board built in, so I can build in a noise gate. Again, what we hear is the live tune over the mixer, but it does not come out that way at the other end. So if you would listen to the live stream right now, you would probably not even hear the hammering.
Oh, okay. That sounds good. Then we're just talking about shit that nobody can hear.
Well, they can still hear our voices.
But yeah, what is it? The Overeem versus Verdum. I don't see Verdum going to the ground at all, and I don't see, like, not Verdum, but Overeem, like, being fooled to go onto the ground at all.
No, that would be stupid.
And Verdum, I don't even think he's going to be able to take down Overeem. So it's going to be a stand-up match, which favors Overeem a lot.
Yeah.
And I think Overeem's going to knock him out. Because I don't think Overeem's done. He's had so many fights though. Who knows? Like.
Yeah, the thing with Overeem is that he has only one thing missing in his trophy fucking case, and that is the UFC belt. And I think he wants it so bad that he will just keep going and going and going. And I don't know, maybe he becomes the BJ Penn of heavyweights at some point. But I don't see Overeem quitting at any point at all.
Well, I don't think people give Overeem the respect of what he has accomplished throughout the years.
Well, I think they judge him Overeem on steroids and Overeem off steroids.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, yeah, you're true. It's true that people are like, they're saying that it's tainted, like he was taking steroids, and when you look at it, he was taking steroids because he got caught, right? It's not like it was like speculations or anything like that. So
yeah, he got caught.
How long has he been taking steroids? Probably for ever since he went up to heavyweight, because in Pride he was fighting light heavyweight,
Mm.
and he was skinnier. His frame was much smaller.
Yeah.
And if you really look at it, most of his accomplishments was after he went up to heavyweight.
Yeah. Man, those guys are throwing down. They're not giving in. They're clashing, then one step back, and then they're clashing again, and one step back, and then it goes like this all the time. We're in the third round, by the way, I believe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's the time on yours?
I am 216, 215, 214, 213.
Oh, you're behind me.
Where you at?
I'm at 150.
Okay, but that's not too much. That's not 3 minutes.
No, that's that's true.
I remember last time, man, that was funny.
Banging.
Yeah, 100%. But again, when we talk about cavemen and visuals and judging other people, I would definitely favor Blades here just because of his stature. While
why? Because he's black?
Hashtag not racist. Because black people, they can do two things. They can always dance and they can always throw down. No, that was a little bit racist.
You can always sing too.
Mm. Oh, not everybody. I know some. I have some black friends. They can definitely not sing. But no, what the fuck?
Yeah, what about rap?
Well, that is not really singing. That is poetry.
Well, poetry in motion. You know, like that's kind of like rhythm. So, I don't know. Like to me, yeah, like you said, I don't know. Like it's weird, like how people describe. What is it? What's the word that they always use to describe Tyron Woodley?
Annoying.
No. like his fighting style.
Explosive.
Not athletic.
Athletic, explosive.
Explosive, right? They always use the word explosive, but it's rare that when you like hear them describe like a white fighter as explosive, right?
Mm.
It's if you look at it, like a lot of people don't use those words. The words that they describe certain types of fighters is different than how they describe. Even though, like, say, like a Conor McGregor, he's explosive too, but you don't really hear the word explosive being used for Conor McGregor. You always hear like, like fast on his feet, quick.
Yeah, it's like they always call Arabics terrorists and white people just mentally ill.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry, I had to bring it there.
Yeah, you're right. The word choice that people use is kind of like ingrained into your lots of people's brains from what they've heard, growing up, or what they've heard from like what they watch, I guess, what they hear, what they listen to, and then they eat the vocabulary that they hear for certain type of fighters or whatever. So.
Yeah, there you have that knee again. Fight is over, by the way. I don't know how much you have been... Wow, slow-mo knee in your face. I'm a big fan of slow-mo, even though I'm not a big fan of slow-mo. Because nowadays, it seems to me, no matter what kind of video they do, let it be for business, for fighting, for sports in general, or something else, everybody puts shit in slow-mo.
Yeah. I wish they would utilize that 360 camera more.
That would be awesome. I think there's a bunch of different camera techniques that would fit perfectly for MMA. We did a bunch of different things at Red Bull, everything from the Matrix effect to other kind of stuff, and I would love to see that in MMA. But again,
I got Blades. Blades is gonna win.
You got Blades? Why? Because he's black?
No, well, yeah, that's one like 10% of it.
Okay. That's the Korean. Oh man, I love it.
Yeah.
No, I'm to be honest, man, and I don't really care what people think, but I'm a big fan of racist humor, because I believe if you think that humor about different races or cultures is racist, then you're racist yourself.
Yeah, or you're fucking too sensitive.
Or too sensitive, indeed. And you are right, Blades took this one.
Yeah. The thing is with that is that when you have friends and you go to different countries and you have friends from different races and stuff, when you guys get to a certain like point or in your relationship where you guys get comfortable with each other, you guys joke around about stuff, you guys joke around about you have slanted eyes and shit, like
all the time.
you got a small dick, you know, stuff like that. You joke around it, and that also goes into like the race of, you know, things, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Joking, not like serious. You guys are fucking good friends. You're not, you know.
But
you'll say you're you know, you're Asian. You should be, you know, you should know how to run that MacBook. You know, that's
Oh man, that's so funny because I have to think of yesterday when I brought my MacBook to the guys. I was literally just thinking that. I was like, no matter what's wrong with my MacBook, you guys are Asian. I trust you. You fix it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Racist, but not really racist. It's just, you know, you get to a point where it's just a joke, you know, and it's just like it's a stereotype, I guess.
Yeah, and it's a form of development. If you can joke about things, only that is how you can laugh about things, and that's how you develop as a person and as a culture. And I agree. One of my friends, Carissa, we had her on the podcast twice. She's a very good friend of mine. She's in New Zealand now. She's black. And every time I talk or write with her, man, it's just I'm the whitest black dude in town. You know what I mean? It's what up, Kay? And dude, it's just hilarious because we just know it's very, very funny. It's the same for me as a German man. You have no idea how many people. George, romantic George, every fucking time he sees me, on the last time on the podcast or at Full Metal Dojo, he just threw out his German words all the fucking time. And you just take it because it's fun.
Well, George, he only knows like 3 phrases of each language, so he just throws those out every time to whoever he sees.
Yeah, and he doesn't stop. He just keeps coming. There he is, Gaethje. Justin Gaethje.
Well, he's persistent.
Yeah.
He's persistent.
Yeah,
Justin Gaethje. He's a beast.
Yeah, there we go. Fight of the fucking year. Boom.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just.
But yeah, going back to that, you know, like people they just need to relax, because I heard that in the States, everybody's sensitive about everything, and when you say something, they take it so seriously, and it's not, you know, like you can't joke around as much anymore like you used to when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand how come people got so sensitive all of a sudden.
I don't know, because you get corrected in school and mobbing, and I think it starts basically there in school, you know, you get mobbed and then you don't want to do this, and then female rights, and then it just comes to a level, I think first of all, before anybody complains here, everybody should be equal, no matter where you're from, what gender you are, or whatever you are. But you also have to realize that certain people, first of all, don't know better, and second of all, don't necessarily mean it as they sound like. And if you take it with Black Lives Matter or female rights, often it comes to a level when it goes over that boundary, it just becomes too much, and then you're actually causing the problem by overreacting to everything. Let's just take genders, man. There is so many different genders. There's he, there's she, then there's she-male, then there's he, she, or whatever it is. It's just too fucking much. Some people don't know better, man. I just know 3 fucking genders. That's a ladyboy, that's a male, and that's a female. That's what I know. If you're anything else, then let me know and I will try to remember, but I don't guarantee it because I'm not surrounded by these kind of genders every fucking day. It's not in my average day life. It's like learning physics in fucking school and then you become a woodchopper. You don't, oh no, that's a bad example. But I don't know. You know, some stuff that you learn in school you don't necessarily need in your later life. And some people just never get, confronted with different stuff that is important to other people.
Yeah. It's fucking crazy. But hey, if a man becomes a woman, it's a lady boy. But if a woman becomes a man, what is that?
A woman boy.
Is that a lady boy too?
That's a good question, actually. I have no idea. I would.
No.
I would assume that it would be something different in the name, just to make it more specific. That the transition came from woman to man and not from man to woman. So maybe woman boy, or lady. No, lady boy. That's the other way. Boy, lady, boy, woman.
It'll be like a man girl.
A man girl. I think I heard that one before. Man girl.
Okay, maybe that's it. You know, but who gives a shit what you are, man? You be whatever you want. You want to be a troll? You know those troll dolls? Hey,
they're from Scandinavia, brother.
Yeah. Shit.
My mom actually collects them. Are you talking shit about my mom?
No, I don't even know where your mom is from.
Dude, you want to know something funny? Because my name is Steve, and then when we had American Pie coming out, you know, I don't know what year that was, late 90s, beginning of 2000s. You know the movies American Pie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my mom automatically became Stifler's mom because I'm Steve, Stifler's mom.
Oh.
My mom never watched those movies, doesn't speak English as shit, enjoyed the nickname, and every time we had some sort of class meeting or whatever meeting where parents were involved, my friends were just making jokes, my mom was just laughing and didn't get the idea, whatever it was, and that made me so mad that people called my mom Stifler's mom.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I had a rough time in school, man.
Skeletons in the closet, fucking rolling out, you know.
Here they are, man. Overeem. Talking about my mom and switching to Overeem, that is the best transition ever.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Overeem is like, you know, the guy that next door that would scare your mom.
Why? Because he's black? Boom.
No,
No.
He's gigantic, and he just has the look on his face like he would be annoyed by anything that you would say or do, and you know, and he doesn't want you to walk on his grass. And if you walk on his grass, he's gonna fuck you up. That's what's gonna happen. No matter what.
You think Overeem would sorry, you think Overeem would be that kind of guy that when he gets older that he will have a front yard where he has this little grass field completely, or everything is cut correctly on the same length, or do you think he would be more the townhouse kind of guy?
No, I think he'd have his own house and everything's like the way that he wants it. You know, because he's if you look at his career too, is whenever he does like camps, he never stayed with one team. He went and did his own thing, which means like everything's made to his like preferences. So I think that if he does have a house, he'll just have everything the way he wants it. So go ahead.
Have you ever heard of the TV? I don't know if it was a TV show, but it became movies called The Flodders.
No.
Wait, I'm gonna go to Facebook right now and I'm gonna type you the name. And after this brilliant Phone Companion podcast, I want you to Google this. It's a Dutch TV show about a family. And I'm sure, because I see you on Kumite Radio, you always post funny pictures and memes sometimes on your social media. I'm sure bunch of interesting pictures if you Google this TV show. Cool. It's called.
Yeah, I throw up the memes on the Instagram.
On the Instagram, yeah, I enjoy that. It's always funny. The Flodders, yeah. If you Google that and if you see that and maybe watch the movie, I think it's out there in English as well. You will be laughing because automatically you will transform from seeing this TV show or TV movies into putting Verdum in every of these scenes, because not Verdum, sorry, Overeem, because Overeem is Dutch, and this is why we Germans laugh so much about Dutch people, also because of this TV show. So here's a little inside information of a German.
I have to check that out then.
Because you know,
Doom. Yeah, go ahead.
Because you know, Germans and Dutch people, we are kind of enemies. We make a lot of fun of each other.
Oh, of course. I think everybody's enemies over there.
You wanna hear a great German joke about Dutchmen?
What?
You know that they have a lot of bicycles over there, right?
Yeah.
So when somebody dies, they don't bury him in a coffin. They actually bury him with the head down first, and they let the ass stick out of the ground. You know why that is?
So a speed bump?
No, because they can still use it as a bicycle holder.
Oh shit.
Boom, German humor at its best, ladies and gentlemen.
That's fucked. Overeem's gonna be looking for you.
His ass? You think so?
Yeah, he's gonna be looking for you because he probably has a big ass. I hold like 2-3 bikes.
Now it gets a little bit weird here right now, but coming back to what we're actually doing, watching fights and talking about other stuff. Verdum is in the cage, Overeem is in the cage. This fight is actually one of the few that is actually about to happen at UFC 213. Co-main event, right?
Is it?
I think so. Yes. Let me double check here. I have my UFC page open somewhere. UFC. Oh, yeah. This is why I have it. I opened UFC 214 because we were talking about Woodley before, and I wanted to know Woodley versus Maya. What's your prediction?
Woodley versus Maya or Woodley? Woodley by destruction.
Yeah, I think so too. Woodley is actually training with Ben Askren.
Yeah, Woodley has been training with Ben Askren for a long time. But the thing is, like, Woodley is the worst matchup for Maia.
Yeah, I think so too.
If you look at Maia's history, the worst matchup. He's gonna get pummeled.
But do you think they want to kind of get rid of Maia a little bit because he's such a boring fighter, and they didn't really give him time to prepare?
No, I don't think they're trying to get rid of him. I just think that that's the fight that they have to make. They just made it, and Woodley hasn't fought in a while, and Maia hasn't really. And he never gets injured in his fights because he's always controlling the other guy, you know. So I think that's just what they had to make, and they made it. And they're not trying to get rid of him because I think they hate Woodley more.
Yeah, I hate Woodley. I'm not a big fan of Woodley. It's just because it's the same with Nunes. They just feel sorry about themselves, you know. They always, I don't know. There's just something about their personality that makes them sound like they're crying about everything all the time.
Hey, Herb Dean. Have you met Herb Dean?
I have not met Herb Dean.
Oh yeah, I sat down with Herb Dean and talked to him for a while. He's pretty, he's real cool and calm, and like, I don't know, it's just like his job he takes real seriously, but other than that, he's just like, you know, nothing really surprises him too much. And
yeah, he must be a pot smoker, 100%.
I don't know about that, but yeah, if you look at the looks. The dreadlocks and stuff like that, and you know.
Well, I was. There he comes with his flying fucking kick again. Verdum open up. No, I'm not talking about the looks, but just how you describe him. That's also how I see him in the cage. He's also always very calm, and I don't know. There's just something around him. When did you meet him?
Oh, when he came to Korea and he was reffing for Road FC. Actually did an interview with him that I never put out.
Why not?
Because I had some like problems at that time, so I just never put it out, and kind of like a time passed.
Okay,
so I just never put it out. But anyways, Herb Dean, yeah, real cool guy, real, you know, if you want to talk, he'll talk to you, you know, like he's not like what is it? He doesn't big guy you, because if you think about it, Herb Dean is like a legend in MMA refereeing, right? So, and everybody knows who Herb Dean is just by his look. And he's in the cage for some of the greatest fights ever in the UFC. And now he's like refereeing in like Russia, and he's traveling the world, man. And he's like living the life. And
yeah, he's every fucking
cool
where.
And he has like children that are like in their 20s.
He also has a podcast, I believe, huh?
Oh, does he have a podcast? I don't know.
I think so. He has a podcast. Either it's him or Big John, some of them. And just to shortly interrupt you, I want to go back to your Herb Dean story. But Overeem has a weird stance, man, or is it just me?
Yeah. He's trying to draw him in because Overeem's trying to counter.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. His hands are very, very low. However, Herb Dean and Road FC, and oh yeah, dude, I saw recently you posted something on your social media about a weird fight, that tall woman against that small woman.
Oh, the Gabby Garcia, she's like 200 and I don't know how many pounds, but the small girl's like 135. Oh shit, you're like 15 seconds behind.
You're
gonna see something.
Shut the fuck up. What time are you at?
2:20.
2:20. Okay.
Oh, this is like, you remember like last time we did the companion?
Yeah, I heard you.
This is a what is it called? A chess match. This is what this fight is also, like that, like the Lima versus what is it? The Larkin fight. Remember that fight in the beginning? They were like kind of engaging each other.
Yeah, I remember.
Very similar style of like what they're trying to do right now. They're trying to find out the range, and it's pretty exciting, I think.
Yeah, at some point somebody is just gonna explode. And talking about chess, I saw a picture of Conor McGregor today sitting on a chessboard. I don't know what I should think about that. If he really can play chess, is he really a good chess player? I don't know. Wouldn't surprise me though. And I think Overeem connected there.
Yeah, Conor McGregor is a master at marketing. So whatever he puts out, he's probably thought it over, and you know, and he has people. His management is probably helping him, and anything he does, everything's like there's a reason for it. There's nothing that he just posts just because he wants to be on social media.
Yeah.
He's posting because there's like a tactic to everything. Even the videos that he puts out of him boxing, and it says like, oh, McGregor gets fucked up by his training partner. All those videos are not being posted just because somebody hates Conor McGregor. It's being posted because his management, his marketing team, him, they're all working to like build hype, to kind of fool the opposition. There's the method to the madness of Conor McGregor that no other fighter has ever had. That's what makes him such, you know, a great, you know, figure in MMA. And also he wins fights.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you there. There's nothing to add. If you remember the video he put out of him sparring against the bag not long ago, and then one day afterwards Mayweather put out a video, and it just made Conor McGregor look so slow and Mayweather so fast. It just adds to the whole build-up of the fight. And they actually recently just announced their world tour, which is containing like 4 stops, so it's not really world tour.
Oh yeah, but it's just the press conference.
Yeah, it's London, it's Canada, and somewhere in the States, and then somewhere more. 4 stops so far. I don't know if they add any more, but I don't think so, because it's on such a short notice.
Man, that's gonna be the most epic press conferences ever in the combat sport.
What the fuck was that by Verdum?
They were just joking around. But there is the most epic. It's gonna be epic. It's like, I have no interest in the fight that much, but the press conferences, yes. Yes, I do.
Well, it still feels a little bit surreal. It doesn't really feel like it's actually gonna happen. You know, I think there's something is gonna happen which makes them postpone the event, or I don't know, man. I can't really see how they out of the sudden just made everything happen so fast, and then they just made the fight happen so fast. Something has to go wrong. In a big fight like this, something has to go wrong.
Yeah, it could possibly, but I don't think so. I think they're gonna fight, get it over with, and move on. That's what they need to do.
Now, what do you think is more likely when Conor McGregor comes back to the UFC at the end of the year? Conor McGregor versus Gaethje, or Conor McGregor versus what's his face again? The Russian dude.
Khabib.
Khabib. Again.
I think that they're gonna try to make the fight that Conor McGregor wants. I think that's what they're gonna do.
They always gonna make that fight that Conor wants.
Yeah. So if Conor McGregor wants to fight Khabib in Russia, like Dana White was saying, or maybe that's not even true, because you can't even believe what Dana White says.
I don't believe that's true.
Most of the time he just lies about a lot of stuff, right? So.
Yeah. Oh, big swinging.
And then you find out later on I was lying. You know, like he just says shit to say shit sometimes.
No, that's exactly the same as you just mentioned with Conor McGregor. There's a plan behind everything.
Oh yeah. And then it's like the coax, because you heard that they're trying to get into Russia, and the best way to get into Russia is to have Khabib on the main event, and who's the champion of the division? It's Conor McGregor.
Yeah, but here's my own. You want to hear my own theory why the UFC is gonna make it into Russia, and why they're gonna make it into Russia big time?
What?
Because of Donald Trump.
Oh, that's true too, because like the UFC supports, or Dana White supports Donald Trump too. So.
Yeah, not only that way, but also Trump's relations in Russia, not fully disclosed, but we all know there's some relations with Russia. And why not taking the biggest growing sport into Russia, and then out of the sudden you have a Cold War, not like you had it in the 60s, 70s and 50s with the weapons and stuff like this. Now you have it with fighters, because there's pride in fighting, and then Russia puts up their best fighter Khabib versus the US best fighter, which is Conor, but he is Irish, but he is fighting for an American promotion. So that's my little conspiracy theory. Donald Trump is going to bring the UFC to Russia.
No, you need an American.
Okay,
you can't have Conor.
Well,
He's
that
Irish.
would be Gaethje then, because Gaethje yesterday said, first I want to be the best American, and then I want to be the best in the world. So that means Gaethje has to fight Conor McGregor, beats Conor McGregor, and then keeps on going to Russia.
That could be true, but I think that they're gonna jump all that. Gaethje, he still needs to fight more.
Heavy knee, dude.
Like, yeah, I think he needs to fight more to get the title shot. But yeah, I think they're gonna just jump in right away. Conor McGregor versus Khabib. The thing is, who knows? Khabib might fight Tony Ferguson in the meanwhile.
I think he has to, man. After his last weight cut, he missed that. I think he needs to fight somebody else before he actually can get to Conor McGregor, because he needs to show again that he can make the weight.
And he might lose. Who knows?
Who knows? I would like to see Ferguson though, man. I'm a big fan of Ferguson. I like his style. I like his talk. It's
oh shit!
Shut up! I haven't seen anything. Oh man, Overeem is just holding out his chin there.
Yeah.
Where you at?
And they're playing games with each other now.
Oh, big swinging and miss again. I'm at 153, 52, 151.
Yeah, Verdum, in his corner, he's been with the same coaches for a long time.
And you think that's a good thing?
Which is, well, for some people, you know, you never know what works for each fighter. Certain fighters, they work better where they have coaches that just focus on them.
Mm.
And then certain fighters, they're better, you know, with like a team around them. It all depends.
Yeah.
Because I heard that if you go train at, well, not even I heard, the fighters will tell you, you go train at Jackson's MMA in Albuquerque, New Mexico, right?
Yeah.
And it's like biggest, most famous, one of the most biggest famous camps in the world. A lot of the fighters leave that camp. The reason why is because they don't get enough personal attention because there's so many fighters, so many high-level guys in there.
Yeah, Overeem is training there, by the way.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's not like, his coaches in his corner are not the Jackson's MMA coaches, though.
Yeah.
It seems like he has his own coaches. I think he's just there for, like, you know, to get the insight from, you know, like Greg Jackson and the other guys and get some technique and stuff. But I think it's the sparring that he needs to get, and he has a lot of guys to spar with over there because there's like a lot of fighters from all around the world. And I think a lot of camps in Thailand are doing that too, though.
That would have been my next question to you, because you have direct access to Romantic George. Have you ever spoken about how that works at Tiger Muay Thai? Because also they have loads of fighters over there. And how is their attention from coaches? How capable are they of giving each fighter the attention they need or request?
Well, actually, I don't know that. It'd be better to ask George about that. I don't really talk to him about his... I haven't really talked to him a lot about like the guys that come in, but some guys are there for like a week. Some guys are there like for a month. Some guys are there for their fight camp. Everybody's in a different, you know, situation.
Yeah.
So, you know, they and also Tiger also has their own fighters, their own team that is there all year round. So I think if one of their guys are on their team focused on a fight, or they have a fight planned, and they're kind of like working on game plans and like specific like areas that they need to focus on to improve themselves, and you know, I think that's what they do. But who knows? George would be probably the best at, you know, because I don't really talk too much with George on the podcast about like, you know, those types of things. But
somebody needs
to
buy you guys a private vacation somewhere so you can go out for 2 weeks and just have your little podcast honeymoon and get to know each other more and figure all that out. What's up with fucking Verdum jumping into every round?
I think that he's taking the chances, you know.
Yeah, but if you do that every round, you kind of see that coming.
Well, he's done it twice and he's landed before, you know, another fight. So
now he did it 3 times and missed 3 times. Man,
well, like I said, Lester is a smart guy. He's in fight knowledge. He's like a, you know, he's a professor.
Yeah.
So
it's very difficult.
This is what we're to do right here. He needs to make it dirty.
It's very difficult to say who has the upper hand right here in that fight. Maybe I just say that because I'm talking to you at the same time as I'm trying to watch the fights, but it seems very even.
Yeah, but I think Overeem has landed the harder shots, the cleaner shots, because he's been playing the distance with Verdum. But now Verdum, he's doing a good job pushing forward and making it a dirty fight, and that's what he needs to do. If he doesn't do that, he's gonna lose. This is a chance that he has to push forward and have Alistar kind of make mistakes running backwards.
Yeah, I don't think that. I can't wait for the post-fight press conference if Verdum loses. That would be, because you're gonna hear some sort of crying of him for sure.
Yeah, like he tapped. Oh shit! Oh fuck!
Shut the fuck up! Where you at? What the fuck?
Oh shit! Oh no, he fucked up. He fucked up. Why did he do that? Why did he go for the submission?
What are you talking about? Can you just let me know where you at right now?
247.
Oh shit! Now I see what you mean. Oh shit!
Yeah.
Yeah. Why did he go for the submission? I totally agree.
Shit. Oh fuck! You're gonna. Oh shit.
Oh, this is fun.
Damn. Oh man, I think. Well, it seems like he has enough time. He has like over 2 minutes, so Verdum has enough time to finish him if he can.
Oh man. Overeem is eating those jabs now too. That's never a good sign when you start to eating jabs.
Yeah. And he's just standing there.
Yeah.
It's not like he's moving around like he normally does. So he's hurt.
Oh yes, he's definitely hurt. He's just holding on.
You gotta see what he does.
Again, I'm a little bit after John here at the moment for the people who just tuned in or don't know what's happening. We might talk about two different things. That is because John is a few seconds ahead of the live stream, and in Thailand it arrives a little bit later.
Yeah, I think, but every like live stream has like a different point that they're live streaming from. It's weird. It's weird. Like some live streams are behind. Like if you watch it on TV, you know what sucks is like in Korea. Like the UFC, all the UFCs were free on TV live. But now they created this channel where it's all pay-per-view. Like even the fight nights.
What?
Yeah, it's fucked up.
But isn't that illegal? You can, I mean, if the promoter itself says this is an event that we would stream or show live for free on TV, you cannot just make a pay-per-view out of it.
No, it's like a service site, like a pay service. It's kind of like what is it called, UFC Fight Pass, but in Korea only. So,
yeah, but it's still it's still not the event of the, let's say, Korean Fight Pass forum. It's still the UFC event. If they want to be able,
UFC contracts all the events to them, so they basically do what they want to do with the events, no matter what. So that's what they're doing now. But it used to be all free. But the funny thing is, like, you could pay for it live, and then later tonight it's on the regular sports channel for free.
No, that's stupid. Well, again, I say that's stupid. I know with certain sport events, I pay no matter if they show the event on free TV an hour later. I still want to watch the real stuff. You know what I mean? And talking about that.
Yeah, you want to see it live, because after it's live, it's not even as exciting.
Exactly. And then what if there's something crazy spectacular that's happening?
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
and then you hear about it online, and it's like everybody's seen it.
Yeah, that's the most annoying thing. What do you do when you ever have a day where you can't watch the UFC with a big fight? How is your tactics to go around all the news? Do you check your social media, or do you let go of it completely?
Well, if I'm on social media, then I'll look at it, but, you know, it's not like I'm just like trying to avoid the news or anything like that on purpose. It all depends what I'm doing. If I'm busy, I'm busy. You know, if I'm not, I'm not. But usually, you know, like, I look at this as part of my job, and actually I'm gonna get back into journalism again next week, because I took a break and just focused on the podcast. But now I'm gonna do the podcast, and I'm gonna do more journalism.
Yeah, that's what we like to hear.
Yeah, and that's what most people has been telling me, is like, man, you gotta get back to doing your journalism thing. You gotta start writing articles and doing interviews and
you need to be
like that.
Yeah, you need to find a level where you can combine everything, where you can take knowledge of your journalism and put it into your podcast, and the other way around, where you take the knowledge of your podcast and put it into your journalism. It's about to find the balance, because if you focus on one thing, you miss out on actually developing on other ends, which are important for making your podcast what it is. So I think that is a really good step forward to balance stuff and find stuff. It's the same for me with, for example, shooting fights. If I still need to do photos, not because I need to, but I want to. You know what I mean? It's part of who I am, and if I don't have that, some things go missing on the podcast. It's the same when we were talking about Shimada before judging. I made a comment about photos. It just adds to my perspective of seeing these things happening.
Yeah, you give. And you when you talk about it, you give other people's perspectives of, what's going on that they would never heard if you weren't there at that moment or if you didn't research it. So yeah.
Who you got on that fight? Sorry, I haven't seen anything yet. I don't know the result yet. Who you got?
I think Overeem won.
But he got knocked down.
But who knows? He won the first 2 fights, but he got knocked down in the second one, or the third round.
Being knocked down is never a good thing. I think that can overshadow the judgment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Make it a draw. Let's do it again.
Draws are so rare in the UFC.
I know.
Draws are just common in Asia for some reason.
So who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Unfortunately, I think it's gonna be Verdum. Alistair took it. Yes. And you see Verdum already. He's shocked. He didn't see this one coming. What's happening? The UFC is trying to screw me. Well, something is going to happen.
He said some bad things about the UFC, and I don't think the UFC is happy with him right now. So.
Well, I think in general, it's the same thing. If we go back to the Polish dude who was supposed to fight Big Dash in January, he recently took it to social media and won championship. I know they've been doing this with a few fighters, but again, you need to realize it's a big promotion in a certain state of development. It doesn't help you anything if you go out there and just talk shit about your promotion just because you are not happy. You know, that will never work. It's just worse because you need to show that you can do your part as well. They try to provide a living for you by giving you fights, by creating a new promotion. And of course, they want to make money as well. So it's not only for the fighters, but it's something that everybody benefits of. Because if you don't have one championship or other promotions, for example, what would you do then? You need them as much as they need you. So you need to find a balance. And going out on social media and talking shit about other stuff, that never really helps. And to be honest, man, and this is what this podcast is all about, also being a part of my journey with as a photographer, I have not been that active with one championship as I would like to the first half of the year. But I have not been going out there and saying, oh yeah, they never hire me and they do this and this. And now I'm looking forward to a much better second half. I'm going to be more busy with them again. I'm looking forward to that. So with that being said, patience is very, very important no matter what you do. If you be a fighter, a journalist, a photographer, a parent or whatever, sometimes you just need to sit out things and just keep quiet and things will solve themselves. You know what I mean? Too many people are too emotional, reactive to certain problems.
Yeah, I guess, like everything comes down to your contract.
Oh,
and the fighter signs a contract, and when you sign a contract, if you don't have, like, let's say you don't have a manager that helps you, and you're just controlling what is you're in control yourself, or if you have a coach, usually the coach kind of helps you with those things too. And if you don't read the contract and look at the contract and say, like, if the contract doesn't say what you want your contract to be, but you sign it anyways, then it's kind of your fault for signing the contract.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Because if you're just saying, like, let's for example, like one FC, one championship, like if you sign a contract with one championship, they have a contract. There's a reason for this contract, because this is what they want from you. Okay, and if that contract does not say what you want from the contract or what you want from the promotion, then you shouldn't sign the contract. You shouldn't just jump on a contract just because they give you a contract. You got to be smarter than that as a fighter, right?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Like, you can't let them control you to the point where, and then, like you said, and then you go back and you fucking complain about your contract or what they're doing with your, but you signed a contract, right? Did you read it? Did you read the print? Did you have somebody look at it? Those are like, that's why a lot of fighters that don't have managers, or if you don't have a manager, I recommend that they have a manager that knows what they're doing, so they don't have to, if you don't want to worry about those things, have the manager take control of that, you know. And I understand that it's not easy to find a good manager, but you know, if you don't trust somebody, then do it yourself. And read the contract. Or if you don't know what it means, take that contract to somebody that knows what it says, because I don't know. Yes, the promotion does fucked up shit, but also the fighter needs to know that, hey, you signed the contract. You should know what the contract says, what the stipulations of the contract are. It's not just, there's no one side to this.
Yeah, you are responsible for your own safety and luck in that case. And exactly as you say, either you do it yourself, educate yourself so you know what you're signing, read it. If you are too lazy to read it, then hire somebody to do it for you. But again, you can only be 100% sure if you do it yourself. Dude, I'm watching the promo that is running here for Cormier versus Jones. That seems fucking epic, man. Fire and the drones and personal shit in there and crying.
The fight.
I don't know, man. I try not to get hyped.
Right there, Jones is high on cocaine. They should have wrote right there underneath, it was like, he's high on cocaine right there.
Yeah, just a small white dot every time he's high on cocaine in an interview. But
or they should just put a picture of a line of cocaine underneath, like just like a signal, you know, like, hey, he's high. And then later on they should write like drug free for 1 year.
Man, I refuse to get hyped for this fight because it still feels like something's gonna happen. Because last time it felt the same. It was like, no, this time nothing can go wrong because he's gonna make sure that everything is 100% right after his fuck ups. But again, it seems like with Jones, it's a never-ending story.
But you know, he's the typical, you know, the athlete that is so talented that he takes his talents for granted and he just does what he wants to do, and he feels that he's invincible. Because think about it. A fighter is, I think the ego of a fighter can feel the most invincible compared to anybody, because you go in there and it's one-on-one and you're beating the shit out of each other, and if you win, that means you just did the most highest level of competition, and you just destroyed somebody else, right? And beat their ass, which is different from sports where you, like, if you lose, you just walk off and you just go to the locker room, take a shower, and go home, and you feel bad, but it's not like you have like injuries, like your fucking brain is scrambled or something like that, right? So it's a different level of like ego. I think ego is the word that you can create for yourself, and Jones did that.
Do you think that Daniel Cormier and John Jones will ever be able to grab a coffee together when they're like 50 or 60 or something like that? Or do you think... are you 100% convinced that this is a real rivalry, or not just two smart people who just know how to use the opportunity and really play it out, and they just know each other? You know, this kind of relationship, as you said before, with friends and doing racist jokes, because you need to meet the right person. Teamwork makes dream works, you know what I mean? And somehow, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but somehow I have a feeling with Cormier and Jones, it's exactly the same. They hate each other for real, but at the same time, they know that they need each other, and at some point they realize it's just time to settle everything down, and when we are 50 and 60, we're gonna have a fucking barbecue together and laugh at how fucking smart we were, even though we fucking hated each other. Because every good relationship in friendships, or most of them, and I can talk for myself as well, very good friends to myself have started off as people I didn't like. So I think that
but that's your personality. I think it has to do with the personality that you have. So yeah, for you probably be able to like not really like somebody in the beginning, but then develop a liking to somebody in a relationship with them.
Mm.
But with certain people, like let's take myself, right? If I don't like you, usually when I meet people, it's not like I don't like them or I like them. It's just like it's just an acquaintance, and then I see what like how they act and how they like have relationships with other people and how they treat people, and then I kind of develop an opinion about them, my opinion, right? And then if I start working with them, and then it's like, hey, you know, it's just like a acquaintance. Like you don't like them. It's not like you like them or you don't like them. It's just like you have like a, you know, like a good working relationship, or just like, I don't know. It's hard to say what it's called. But then if they like do something directly to me, then that means that they don't respect who I am. So I just say fuck them, and then after that it's over. Like I don't fucking fuck with them ever again. Like that's me.
Yeah.
That's like how I build relationships with people.
No, but don't you think if Jones gets his shit together now and he beats Cormier, and then he stays on the right path, that Cormier doesn't, or I think Cormier will also be able to develop the respect for actually being fucked up as John Jones was, and then getting his shit back together. So that's why I think they can actually develop not a friendship, but a fucking barbecue when they're fucking seniors. I think that will happen some point.
I believe it won't. I believe they'll, like, after they're done with their, like, fighting each other and stuff, they'll be able to see each other and be able to, like, you know, like, see each other and, you know, and say, like, hi or whatever. But that's about it. Like, you're not going to really see them, you know, like, chatting it up, or, you know, I think they're, like, they've talked so much about each other to the point. And
but it's still involved in the fighting, man. It's still stuff that you need to do, because you need to stay in the other person's face. You know what I mean? They don't really have a choice now, because they need to keep on going. The first one that shows weakness now and stops talking and shows respect and stuff like this will be the loser mentally, and if you lose mentally, you will lose physically. So you kind of have to stay in that zone. That's why I think nobody really goes out of that yet, and also they can't. So. Yeah. Man, at some point, how old are you, John?
I'm 38.
Yeah, I asked you last time. You're fucking surprising me, but it's because you're Asian. You look young. So you're 38. So when you hit, wait, 38. Are you turning 39 this year?
Yeah.
Okay, 39.
Actually, no. Yeah, 39. That's right.
Okay. Do you know if you have birthday left this year or not?
A what?
No, I'm just kidding. So you turn 39 this year.
No, because I get kind of confused, is because like in Korea, you're like 1 year older than your like every year that starts in January, you become 1 year older than your real age. It's weird. Like they start your age when you're like when you're born, you're already 1 year old in Korean, like Korean society, in culture.
That's weird.
So when I talk to people, I have to tell them my age, but it's like 1 year older. Yeah, it is weird. I don't understand why they keep doing it. It doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense at all.
I'm not even 1 year old yet. Like, what the hell is going on? But that's what they do. So in Korean age, I'm 39. But
in Western age, you're 38.
I haven't had my birthday yet this year, which means I'm not 38 yet. I'm 37. So actually, I am 37, but I'll be turning 38 in November.
Okay.
It confuses me because I have to explain it to somebody that's like not from Korea, and then I get confused about my age. I'm like, how old am I?
It's like, fucking confusing the shit out of me, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's weird, but yes.
My point is, when let's say when I have to do the math, because they need a little bit time to get their shit together, to realize, hey, we can all be friends. They need to develop character. So when you, let's say when I'm 50 and you're 57 to 59, whatever age you are, then I will make a bet. We bet a Korean barbecue right here, right now, live on the Surrounded by Details podcast, that John Jones and Demi Cormier, by the time that I'm 50 and you are 57 or 59 or 58, whatever you prefer, I bet you a Korean barbecue that they will had a chat and a good conversation together by then.
Alright.
It's gonna be like this Oprah Winfrey specials, you know, like Lance Armstrong coming out and talking for the first time after he get caught with steroids. It's gonna be the same thing. They're gonna do that on TV, and they're gonna be like, Daniel, you hurt me, and you really hurt my feelings, and I was a young boy, I didn't know what to do. And this
is it like a celebrity rehab episode?
Boom, there you go. There you have it.
Like they're all on drugs.
Then Cormier is on drugs as well, and then yeah, maybe he can understand John Jones' perspective a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe they're like drug buddies.
That would be fucking funny, man. Whittaker looks pumped, I can say that.
Yeah.
But I want to.
Whittaker's like that guy you meet and you don't know like what race he is. Like he looks Asian, kind of looks black, he kind of looks white. Like it's hard to tell. Like, you know, he's like a Brendan Schaub. You know, like a Brendan Schaub, you can't tell like what race he is. He looks Indian, like Native American, but he also looks white. You know, like Whittaker's the same. But Whittaker has like he has the opportunity to make history. Both these guys have opportunity to make history. Whittaker can be the first, like. Now he's New Zealand, but he trains in Australia, so he's kind of like both. He'll become their first champion ever.
Yeah.
And then you got Yoel Romero can become the first Cuban champion ever.
That's true.
UFC, so
I have
pretty cool.
Yeah, I have to say I'm not a big fan of Whittaker's tattoo choices though.
Oh.
Never been
It
a big
looked like
fan
he
of
got
privates.
it when he was younger.
Yeah, I think so too. And he keeps on punching his chest.
I think he should get maybe, but I think it means something to him most likely because he doesn't like get it covered, you know.
Yeah,
Usually
but maybe it's just because he's so used to it. I mean, a lot of people have weird tattoos and they never get them covered up. But the tribal, if he's New Zealand, I can understand because a lot of New Zealand people have tribals and there's some cultural connection there. But what's up with the little stars on your chest and your nipple? I don't get that.
I don't know, it must mean something to him.
Well, we're
I
gonna
think
try to
that
find out.
Mark Hunt's recent tattoo, his tattoos are sick. Like his chest piece and his back that he did recently. I think that he did a good job by adding on to that. It looks nice.
I haven't paid attention to that. I need to double check that.
Yeah, he just did it recently, but it looks nice. He looks like one of those OG grandfathers that will just knock you out in the middle of the street for like riding your bike and kicking over the trash can.
Yeah, man. Imagine how weird that must be if you start dating a daughter to a MMA fighter. You know, now slowly you have a generation that's coming up, and you have, as we know, loads of MMA fighters get daughters instead of sons. So it must be fun to be an MMA fighter and a dad to a daughter.
Oh, of course. You know, like you scared the shit out of most, especially like a Mark Hunt. He doesn't look like the friendliest guy in the world either.
Or Joey Romero. By the way,
they said he's the lost Ninja Turtle.
He's for sure, man. He's the freaks of all freaks. And I have to say, I love his coach. If you watch the walk-in right now, look to over the right shoulder of Joel Romero, the mustache guy. He's just digging the music and moving his hips and shoulders. He's in there, man. He loves it.
Yeah, he's a part-time salsa instructor.
Are you for real?
No, I'm just
because that wouldn't totally make sense to me if you wouldn't told me the truth. Because he moves like he knows what he's doing.
When I lived in Miami for a year, back in the late '90s, I used to go down to what was that, like Hialeah and all these places where a lot of Cubans are, and we used to go to the clubs down there, and in the clubs there was always a salsa room. Every club that you go to, there's like the main club, and then there'd be like, you know, like hip hop and EDM and stuff, because they're playing. Because the thing is, how old is EDM? Because I think in the late '90s they were playing EDM already in the clubs in Miami.
Well, let me find it out.
Shit. How old is EDM?
While we watch the walking of Joey Romero, I will go to Google, the place where you can find all your knowledge. And
but anyways, you don't need to Google that. But yeah, in every place there was a separate room. Most of the clubs had a separate room for a salsa room.
That's interesting.
Every club I went to, I always had to go check it out, the salsa room, at least once, because it's a different fucking environment than the other, you know, parts of the club. Because you go in there and people are dressed differently, and they're just moving differently, and I should just, you know, peep it out, just check it out and see what's going on in there. And they all look like that coach.
Even the women. Even the women.
Oh, the women are hot, man, and they're all dressed up, but a little bit older than the young girls that are in the other areas of the club. But yeah, like they're really serious about their salsa. Like,
yeah, it's culture, man.
And the other dances that they have, but yeah.
How old? Sorry.
What?
How old is Romero?
Oh, he's 40.
And he fucking backflips through the cage.
Oh man, dude, he's a freak of nature, like most people say. He is. Look at him. He just.
Oh, I don't know, man.
Then he's talking to Bisping right there. Look at him. Bisping's right there with the belt.
This for me is just hilarious, man. Again, it brings me back to your caveman theory of judging other people. And if I see a Joey Romero, no Bisping has a chance, no Whittaker has a chance. I think this is going to be a very quick fight.
Man, look at the age difference, 14 years.
Would that make Romero the oldest UFC champion if he ever becomes a champion?
No, the oldest UFC champion ever was Randy Couture.
Okay, how old was he?
He was probably in his early 40s.
Okay. Because I know Cormier is 38 at the moment, right?
Yeah, he's old.
He's old. 38 is not old, man. That's how old you are.
For a fighter, it's old.
Yeah, for a fighter, that's true.
We're looking at competition.
Love the suit. That.
And he's doing the booty hump. Did you see that?
Yeah, I'm watching it right now.
All the ladies. He was showing all the ladies, like, hey, check this out. I'm gonna be doing this here tonight after I win.
Dude, I mean, what bigger stage can you get than the UFC ring than showing the ladies what you're capable of?
Exactly. Because I heard, like, there's a gang of groupies out there in Las Vegas.
For Romero?
No, for the fighters in general.
Oh, man, I can imagine. So, I mean...
It's crazy, they said. Like, there's so many girls out there.
Yeah, but do you think they're really up for the guys, or you think they're up for the money of the guys?
Well, it's not like the guys are making that much money.
So it must be the guys.
It's not like they're like a Floyd Mayweather or something. They're not making like crazy amounts.
Yeah, but not everybody is aware of that, man. Not everybody knows that, because it's really just the people who really follow MMA and listen to other podcasts that are kind of aware of the payments. For other people, I often think about that because I'm involved with a lot of events, with a lot of TV and a lot of show business stuff. You realize how small that world is. And it, remember when you were a kid and you watched TV and you watched the event, it just seemed so much bigger. It seemed so untouchable and so rich, you know what I mean? If you're in that scene, you kind of realize, okay, it's just, the guy just drinks water, and I met this guy the other day and I met this guy. But for somebody who's not aware of that, they think those people just make a shitload of money.
But I think if you're a groupie, and groupie, there's a thing called groupie Google.
Groupie.
Where you can like find out all the information, because the groupies, like you said, if they're chasing the money, that they will research how much these guys are making, because it's out there on the Google, groupie Google, GG.
I never heard about that term. It sounds awesome.
And they'll figure it out, man. Groupies are not, and groupies are not just women. There's like guy groupies everywhere too. The craziest thing I've ever seen is the guy groupies for female bodybuilders. I'm not even joking. There is. That's the craziest shit I've seen.
Oh man, because when you say that for guy groupies for female bodybuilders, I see like small skinny nerds, and then they just because they like to get manhandled by a woman. That's what they like.
It's crazy to see those guys like really fan out. In Korea, they have separate, like Korea had those like idol groups, like those boy bands and girl groups and shit. You know how they're famous, the K-pop shit.
Yeah. I actually got asked to shoot K-pop once.
Yeah, in Korea, they have concerts, right? And they have certain concerts where it's, they have it for like the young fans, the girl fans. But then they have separate concerts, the same groups that are like these young, in their 20s girls, or like adult men. So the whole stadium is filled with like men, like in their 40s and
crazy.
30s, that are fans of the group, and they're like cheering for them. It was fucking. They did a documentary on it on Korean TV, and I was like, what the fuck is this crazy shit where there's like dudes in their 40s and 50s and 30s, and it's all dudes, and then they're watching a concert for this K-pop girl group.
That's
And they're
awkward,
screaming
man.
and yelling.
It's awkward as fuck. But I'm sorry to interrupt your K-pop story here, but the fight is on, ladies and gentlemen. We got Blue Pants Whittaker versus Red Pants Romero, and Blue Suit is Bisping sitting at cage side. Romero was already talking to him. I don't think this fight is gonna last very long. Somebody is gonna get knocked out, and I think it's gonna be Whittaker.
That's what a lot of people say, but a lot of people pick Whittaker too, because he got those fast hands.
But it's also because, again, I judge by the body, and of course everybody looks shit against Romero.
That's the caveman theory.
Yeah, I'm a caveman here.
He needs to, I think, man, Romero needs to go for some takedowns or something. Oh, he's working that leg, though. That push kick is working well. That's twice that he landed that. And they pushed him back, so. But Romero needs to work that wrestling a little bit, though. He needs to throw some Greco-Roman in there and slam him on his head.
Yeah, never forget your strength. A lot of people learn new techniques and then they get so happy with what they learned that they only try the new stuff. But never forget your roots, never forget your basics. I totally agree. Romero should throw in some Greek Trojan shit there.
Yeah, because it seems like Whittaker, he has his hands so low that he's not really worried too much about the hand speed of Romero.
Or maybe he's just trying to invite Romero for a takedown. Ooh.
No, because if he keeps his hands low, that means he could defend a takedown easily. If he keeps his hands higher, that means you're inviting him for the takedown. So
there you go. Boom. This is the MMA knowledge. This is, ladies and gentlemen, why I listen to the Kumite Radio, because there you have the knowledge going on, while I just have theories, which not always are true. Most likely not true. Let's put it this way. Oh. What's happening?
Oh, damn. Oh, there you go. Takedown. Damn, he's so strong, man, with the takedown.
Such a beast.
See? That's what he needs.
It's about how Whittaker can get up, and he's up on the cage, though. But, man, can you imagine the power you have to fucking carry if you have a Romero to defend? But he got out of it.
But I think that Romero's not really trying to keep him down. He's just trying to show him, like, hey, this could happen.
But dude,
so
Whittaker is doing a good job for to defending. Whittaker up the cage at the moment. Romero just standing there, not doing anything, throwing a knee. I think as longer this fight goes, as better for Whittaker, for sure.
Oh, definitely. That's in everybody's mind. Is can Whittaker take it to the later rounds, and if he doesn't finish him early, and wear him out? Because Yoel Romero, he does little dirty tricks. If you know his past, where he's stayed on the stool a little extra longer, and then
yeah, I heard about that many people think that is a little tricky of him.
Yeah, it's a little trick that he did. He's an old school trick.
But again, man, you got to work with what you got.
Oh yeah.
And if
it goes
it's
back to the old sayings for all the old.
My mama always used to say. I don't know why I did a South American. Why I did a American hillbilly accent.
You did the white trash country style accent.
Yeah, I need to build in a few more attempts of accents. You have the French one. My Olivier impression is pretty good, by the way.
The French?
Yeah, he's Francais, and when you punch the person in the face, you have to cover up yourself. I almost sounded like French there. Oh! I think this is the first fight that both of us actually are paying attention to because it gets quiet.
Oh, of course. It's the fight, you know, that, like you said, it's for the title. It's a great matchup. You know, it draws interest.
Yeah, Whittaker got to watch out for those leg kick though.
Yeah, it seems like that front push kick, the push kick that he's thrown out there is.
And first round is over. Who would you give the first round to?
I think, you know, Whittaker. Not Whittaker. Romero.
He was a little bit more active, yeah.
Yeah.
But Whittaker refusing to sit down? No, he got a chair. Hope we don't see the Chandler thing again.
The other guy definitely taking a chair.
It would be so funny if you're just a dickhead and pull out chairs from fighters. That's all you do.
I know, it's terrible.
It would be a great YouTube series though.
The pull-out chair?
Yeah, different reactions. That would definitely sell. I actually have quite a funny idea, and the people who are listening, maybe you can let me know what you guys think. And maybe you can let me know what you think, John. For One Championship, when they come back to Bangkok on December 9th, I want to do tuk-tuk interviews. What do you think about that?
What is it? Tuk-tuk interviews?
Tuk-tuk interviews.
Sounds great. That sounds great.
Because they are loud, the tuk-tuks, and then you kind of have to scream to each other, and then maybe some other special thing in there, I don't know, and do some tuk-tuks interviews with the fighters. I think that could be pretty fun.
That sounds fun.
Or maybe I should just grab a tuk-tuk in Phuket and do that on the fight road there all day long, just driving tuk-tuk up and down.
Well, sounds great. It sounds like something unique and something that makes it feel like you're at the location doing something, you know, instead of just standing at whatever, you know, because if you're in a tuk-tuk, it's not like you could get on a tuk-tuk anywhere in the world.
What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that for a jump by Joe Romero?
Oh no, there you go, another takedown. Smart. But I'm pretty sure Whittaker worked on a lot of, what is it, like scrambles to get up on the ground. But hey, Romero's so strong.
I mean, I think you can't really avoid to be taken down by Romero, but you can at least try to get back up again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's not like Romero can't get taken down, because he was taken down by other guys. Like Derek Brunson took him down and was beating him up until he lost, you know, to Romero. Yeah, but it's crazy that Romero hasn't lost yet in the UFC. And he's beaten every guy, even though he used dirty tactics. But
you know what? I think 1 second or 2 seconds long on the chair, who gives a shit? Because that 1 or 2 seconds longer on the chair is also 1-2 seconds longer for the other person that doesn't need to fight.
Well, that is the referee's control, and that was the referee's fault. That's not Romero's fault, because the referee, once he's, you know, was sat on the chair too long, the referee should have waived the fight, TKO.
Yeah.
Opponent stoppage. Because, man, Whittaker's doing a good job getting back up, though.
Yeah, you're still a little bit ahead, but...
Am I?
Yeah. Like 10-15 seconds.
I'm at 220 right now, 220.
Yeah, I'm 245.
Oh, it's almost the same.
It's okay. We can live with it.
Oh, shit.
Plus, we like...
Whittaker's like... He has the same story as Max Holloway. You know, like, Whittaker, he was kind of, you know, came in... And everybody underestimated him. Yeah, everybody underestimated him. He's had like 6-7 fights in a row he's won. And Max Holloway, same thing. He had a run. He never talked any craziness. You know, he just won his fight, and he got the interim title shot, which is right here for Whittaker. And he won the interim title, and you know, and Max went on and beat basically the greatest, who is the greatest featherweight ever, who is Jose Aldo, and beat him and won the title, and now he's a champion, like undisputed. And Whittaker could do the same thing. You know, like he could win this fight, get the interim title, and then go on and fight Bisping for the undisputed title, and be the champion. Same thing, and he didn't have to talk crazy. He didn't have to do nothing. He just won the champ. He just won fights. But you know, that's what I'm saying. Like anything, you know, Whittaker could do it.
Yeah.
But Romero, he just seems like he's controlling this fight, but who knows?
Well, Romero definitely controls the fight at the moment, but he also doesn't get what he wants at the discipline that he is best at wrestling. I think that deserves always a little bit more credit than it might get, because if you have somebody like Romero who's really good at wrestling and then he can't really do to you what he normally does, I think that deserves some credit for the other person defending, which Whittaker does a great job here, by the way.
But you never know. Whittaker could get tired from doing all this wrestling too. So,
oh, separation.
I wonder what his cardio is like, because he's flying from all the way from Australia, and Yoel Romero is flying from Miami, so it's a little different.
Yeah, again, that was big swinging and miss. Oh, and again.
And
I
why
always
do I have a feeling that,
I always
why
think
do I have a feeling that Romero's gonna get tired? What happened?
I always think if you are a professional, it shouldn't matter if you have to fly or not, because then fly earlier or get prepared better. I don't know if I have the right to say that, but I think you do nothing else than practicing all day long. You should be ready for this moment.
Yeah.
This is a not grappling.
Man, this fucking sucks, man, that Shevchenko's not fighting against Nunes.
Now, after almost 3 hours of recording, this is the first true reaction I get from you for that Nunes versus Shevchenko got pulled.
I know, it's just terrible.
I was
looking forward to that fight more than any fight on here.
Yeah, me too. 100%.
And then I wake up in the morning. All I see first when I turn on my laptop is Nunes is out of the fight, and I thought it was a joke.
How can you think that was a joke? It's on the internet. It's true.
Joke, on the internet, I thought it was a meme, like a joke. And I was like, no way. And then it just and then the next thing I saw was Joanna. She offered to take the fight, and Dana White was like, "Oh, she's a beast. She was gonna fight." And like, get off her nuts.
I actually saw the picture of Joanna first, and then wondered why she's in the headlines. And then I saw she's stepping in to take Nunes' fight, and then I was like, "What? Maybe that's a story from before, in case Nunes gets injured or something." And then then it hit me, and then I crawled up in a fetus position under my blanket, cried a little bit, and then set up the podcast.
Yeah, they should, like what they're doing for the Jones Cormier fight. They have Jimmy Manuwa fighting on the same card, just in case one of those guys falls out, right?
Yeah, that's a smart.
Gets injured or something, and they could move him up to fight, right? They should be doing that for every title fight, I think.
That's a very smart decision. Yeah, I think so too.
They need to stop fucking around and not doing those backup plans. They gotta have some backup plans. If you don't have a backup plan, then what's the even fucking point of?
What did he take the time for?
Who took the time?
Oh no, just his gloves. Seems to me though that Whittaker is a little bit more controlling the center of the octagon now than the first 2 rounds. And the first 2 rounds go to me, go to Romero.
Yeah, but is Romero getting tired? That's the crazy. That's the thing that everybody was pointing to.
He doesn't look like it. I mean, he's bouncing and jumping and going for the takedown.
Does he have too many muscles?
That is a very important question. Almost up there with why is a banana yellow?
And white on the inside?
Bananas
like
are fun.
You ever had a Twinkie?
Whoa! A Twinkie?
What happened? Yes.
What is a Twinkie?
Twinkie is like a snack that in America. Actually, Robert Whittaker was talking about that during the Embedded, I think, about like something that he'd like to eat, and they have it in America, but they don't have it in Australia, which is a Twinkie. It's like a yellow pastry type thing that they sell, and inside there's like a white cream.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah, that.
Well,
like America, their snack game is on another level compared to any other country.
Because everybody is a fucking pot smoker over there, and they don't care about sugar and shit like this. It's crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They lie to everybody about like what is causing people to become fat, which is fat, but that's not true.
I saw a great post this morning, straight after I cried a little bit over the cancelled fight. Somebody was posting, I wonder who it was, I can't really remember, but it says, on the moon you are 38% lighter than on the earth, so you're not fat, you're just on the wrong planet. But it's crazy, man. Over in the States, everything is just, it's a complete different world, man. If you just look at the advertisement of meds and all this kind of shit, like if you sit in front of the TV for an hour and you don't know better, you think if you walk outside your door, everything is trying to kill you.
Well, you know, in America, everything's like advertised to like counter something else.
Yeah, but it's
like,
just crazy.
They're promoting like eating this, and then at night they're promoting all these weight loss things. But during the day they're promoting all these fattening foods and shit like that. It's weird. And then all the like statistics that come out, it's all controlled by corporations and paid by corporations and stuff like that. So
yeah, you know,
it's hard to believe what anything said. Anybody said.
Yeah, you know that it's easy for us to say from the outside, but for a lot of Americans, they just take everything they see for granted. But you know, the guy who owns Marlboro also owns one of the biggest anti-cancer hospitals, rehab centers in the world. Just crazy.
That's crazy. And like coconut oil, like they were saying coconut oil is all beneficial, and then just recently the Heart Association, they released an article saying that coconut oil is just as bad as other fats on the heart.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Are you telling me coconut is not beneficial for your body? Because I've been listening to that shit and drinking coconut like every day.
I take 2 teaspoons of coconut oil every day.
Dude,
but that's what the American Heart Association said, right, in the article. And then but the American Heart Association also posts in front of children's sugary cereals that this is beneficial for the body. So that's the same association that does that, but they also tell you that coconut oil is bad for you now. Which is like, you can't believe them, because any logical person would know that children's cereals that have sugar all over that motherfucker.
Oh yeah, that's so good.
American Heart Association that this is good for children. How are you gonna believe that? And then they release another article saying that coconut oil is bad. It's unbelievable. So just continue your coconut oil intake. Yeah,
I will do so, because it's way too good. And talking about oil, I'm looking at Joey Romero's sweaty body here, and we are back to MMA. What a transition, man. Third round, go. What the fuck is Bisping doing? Third round goes to Whittaker, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He has been more active, and it seems to be the case that Joey Romero is slowly slowing down. He pulls water over his head. It seems to me like Whittaker actually have a very good chance of taking this, because Romero has been doing nothing more than basically running in the third round.
Yeah.
Well, look at their breathing. I mean, Whittaker is just sitting there chilling, listening to his coaches, while Romero is breathing heavily and fighting for his life.
But the thing is, Romero, he looks like that, but then he gets like a second wind if you watch some of his fights, where it's just like all of a sudden his turbo boosters turn on, and he gets those short bursts, and that's how he like kind of finishes the fights later on. So, but I don't know. I picked Romero to win by TKO, but the thing is, now that the fight is going on, I think Whittaker is gonna win now.
I remember the beginning of the podcast when we were talking about fans just don't give a shit and switch from pick to pick. It's the same, and I said also Romero is gonna win this, and as long as the fight goes, as more fresh Whittaker looks to me, and as more of a chance it looks to me he actually has. But I guess the knockout moment, again, as you say, you never know with Romero. He can just explode from zero to hero.
Exactly. A lot of people that pick Whittaker, I was reading online, they pick Whittaker to win by TKO in the 4th round. So if he wins right here, then that means that they're gonna. Damn.
Man, I can't imagine.
Whittaker's got a gas tank on him.
Yeah, I can't imagine what Bisping would just laugh his ass out if Romero loses.
Oh, he will.
Hmm.
Because I don't think Bisping wants to fight Romero.
I think nobody wants to fight Romero.
Yeah, that's true too.
Except for Whittaker. He was like, yeah, I take it.
Oh, it's for the title. You gotta take it.
Mm.
See,
But I think
Romero's
it's so
smart right here.
I think it's so exhausting for Romero that Whittaker is actually defending his takedown so well.
Well, I think there's more of him kind of getting the points, and then he's resting. Romero is, and kind of get to the ground. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Whittaker is doing a great job.
Knee and pushing away. I enjoy this fight though. I enjoy it.
It's interesting what's going on. But yeah, man, Whittaker, he's doing a good job, like you said. Staying on his feet.
And he's keeping his hands low, man.
Yeah, because that takedown.
But he gets good. I was just about to say he gets caught up in those controlling moments where Romero controls him, and that is the only thing that he needs to adjust a little bit more. Because as longer you get controlled by Romero, of course, as better it looks on the spreadsheet of the referee or judges. Says the photographer here, who has no clue about MMA.
Romero's just like bouncing around, Whittaker's just bouncing around like, come on, buddy, come on, go for the takedown.
This
round
is
not gonna get me down there. But this round's kind of hard to judge.
I was just about to say that it's this round is very difficult. First two goes to Romero, third one goes to Whittaker. This one seems very. Yeah, I would give this to for now to Romero as well, because he had a little bit more controlling time. Whittaker is a little bit too inactive, but he keeps on coming now with kicks to the body.
Whittaker gotta like land some punches. If he lands some like hard shots, he'll kind of edge the round, because those takedowns weren't, like that legit.
Oh, big swing, big hook and miss.
Oh, flying knee.
I would try to just keep on going on Romero's body over and over and over again.
I think that's their plan. Seems like that's his plan, is to kick the body and then lunge in with punches. Whittaker kind of fights like a hyena. Oh shit.
That's a good comparison.
Where are you at? I'm at the 150 mark.
150?
Yeah.
I'm at 1 minute. I'm ahead of you.
You're ahead of me? Shit.
So
my team kind of like froze for a little while.
The table has finally turned.
I know, that's crazy.
Oh.
And is that Whittaker?
Oh, Whittaker. Well, Romero got tagged, but not hard enough. But was a good offense section there from Whittaker. Romero is just fucking endless. I give this round to Whittaker. 2-2. And Romero's pumping hard.
Is this where Whittaker wins the fight in the 5th round?
It looks to me a little bit like it, because he's really strong here at the end of the 4th. Boom, break.
End of the 4th?
End of the 4th. In my opinion, 2-2. So the 5th round is deciding.
Man, if Romero finishes him in the 5th.
Oh, that sucks.
That's just
Romero,
no one ever.
Romero looks like he has no air left at all in his corner. And Whittaker just sits there and chills. I need to rearrange my legs again. This is the crazy. Alright, last round, here we go. Deciding round in my opinion. God damn, Whittaker, you gotta cover up those tattoos, seriously. Who would have thought that this fight would have gone all the way to the 5th round? You know what I wonder? How I talked to Joe Ray here before we started the podcast because of the interview, and they were all watching at Alex Shields' place. Emilio was there as well. They had a little view party. I wonder how a bunch of fighters watches a fight. I can imagine that's like 50 analysts in there, and they just, oh, he should have done this and he should have done this, or I can't imagine how that looks like. That must be fun.
I don't think it's like that. I think when fighters are watching the fights, they're just fucking like screaming and yelling for who they like.
Mm-hmm. Where you at, by the way?
I don't think they're really analyzing the fights as much as we would think they would be.
Interesting, because I've never asked George really, but for somebody who trains MMA and who is a coach, it feels like you always look like for improvements, or this could have been better, or he reacted well there, or he did well there. Very interesting.
Oh, Romero's gassed.
Where you at?
337.
No, you ahead of me, god damn it.
But he's just standing there, he's not even gonna go for takedown.
6 seconds ahead of me.
Oof. Romero needs to do the spinning back fist.
It's coming, man, it's coming in the last 5 seconds.
Spinning back fist. Damn, this is the first time I think Romero's went 5 rounds ever. That's crazy to think that he's just still standing in there. And at 40 years old. That's pretty crazy. But
still competitive. I mean, it's not like Whittaker is fucking running him out. But he's big swing and miss.
Just like,
he's still in there,
but
man.
He's still moving forward, though, like a hyena. And he's ripping that body pretty good.
Yeah.
Man, this is going to be a hard fight.
Somebody's bleeding. Yeah, somebody's bleeding. Ah, man, that's a really good fight.
Oh, damn. It's like they're hitting each other, but they're not really hurting each other.
He's swinging and swinging.
Romero looks like he's cut.
Yeah, somebody is bleeding. I can't really see where it comes from.
On the right side.
Oh, yeah.
The right side.
Oh, Whittaker is having his hands low.
Yeah, also with the judging, you gotta have like guys that know, like, you know, a cut doesn't mean that there's a lot of damage. Like, people have to understand that too. A lot of fighters, a lot of people that watch it, they're like, oh, he was cut and shit. And you could cut somebody with like one punch. Doesn't mean that there's damage being done.
Yeah, it can be fucking glove or whatever. Can be many factors.
Cerebral damage being done, you know. It's not like they're close to being knocked out or something like that. It's totally different.
Yeah.
Damage, you know.
Dude, this is a really close round. I would not know who to give it to. Well, we still got 140 on the clock here right now.
Romero, man, Whittaker just needs to put in combinations. What the fuck just happened? Oh shit! Oh, Whittaker just won this fight, man.
What the fuck? Now my screen froze. Wait, what happened? It just froze, and then I see Whittaker and Romero on the ground.
On the ground? Romero slipped. Romero slipped.
110 to go.
Yeah. Romero slipped. Whittaker fell on top.
That's what she said.
Exactly. Oh, if you look at the statistics, Whittaker has landed way more strikes in the last round.
Yeah, 33 against 15.
Yeah.
But again, it's pretty much as we scored. The first 2 rounds go to Romero, 3 and 4 to Whittaker, and the 5th probably to Whittaker as well, because now he's in controlling position.
Yeah, Romero needs to get up. If he can't get up, he's going to lose this fight.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Oh, damn.
Oh, good job by Whittaker of immediately jumping back on. Oh, heavy elbows. Whittaker. Boom. That's Whittaker. And
Yeah,
Bisping
Whittaker
is
won.
having a small celebration over there. Of course, Bisping is gonna get into the ring. That's why he's sitting cage side. Whittaker got this.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Romero is raising his hands, but I don't believe that. I think Whittaker got the interim title. For sure. Romero's
like, Bisping!
He will not
He
see
sounds like
Bisping.
He sounds like the Grim Reaper when he goes there. He's like, Bisping!
I see you, boy.
Exactly.
There he is. I told you he's gonna get into the cage, of course. Who you got?
Oh, I think Whittaker took this one by
Yeah.
decision. But it wasn't like dominant though.
But
That's the thing is like
doesn't matter.
you're
I
not
think he won it. He was more active. He
Yeah.
did a good job in defending Romero's takedowns, and yeah, might not win round 1 and 2, but 3, 4, and 5 goes in his direction. Dude, that head kick by Romero though.
Yeah, that was sick.
Romero's just such a fucking beast.
That was just freak nasty right there.
Knee to your face.
But they went to war, man.
Yes.
Nobody was like too dominant, but they went to war, and they're the 2 top guys in the division. So sometimes fights end up like this, but it's still entertaining to watch.
Yeah, fight of the night, I would say, from what I've seen.
Oh damn! Mike Bisping's about to fight Romero
What?
in the cage.
Oh, funny. Like this is ever gonna happen.
Bisping is just one of those guys nobody likes.
That's
then
not
there's
true.
like
I
one-
love Bisping.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like him, but a lot of people like him.
I'm a huge fan
Yes.
of him.
But that's what makes you a bigger star. Is you need to have haters. If you don't have haters, then you don't have.
You need,
You know.
dude, as long as people give you opinion, it doesn't matter if it's for you or against you. As long as you get the opinion of somebody, means that you stand for something. You know what I mean? And people will always agree or disagree. And on a certain level, it doesn't really matter who's with you or not, because it's just about to make the most amount of money.
Damn, Whittaker got it. That's Australia right there. Australia stand up. New Zealand stand up right there.
Boom. And Bisping, I'm just trying to keep an eye on Bisping. He's probably laughing.
That's awesome right there for Bob Whittaker.
Very happy for Australian MMA. I mean, we got loads of great guys coming out of Australia. Whittaker for the UFC, the interim title, and also for one championship, man. There's a bunch of talented people. Hashtag not a native English
yeah.
speaker. Guys coming out. It's good for Australian MMA.
Yeah, but I've had a bunch of guys on my podcast from like Australia and New Zealand.
Mm.
Guys in the UFC, guys that are fighting in the local promotions out there, and they all say the same thing, like people love to watch MMA out there, and it's growing, and the biggest UFC ever was in fucking Australia, so
Yeah,
That
that was
shows
Ronda Rousey, right?
yeah, Ronda Rousey getting her head kicked off like a soccer ball.
Like a soccer ball. We should make a podcast trip to Australia one day.
I wish, man. I wish.
Just have a fucking car, drive, and then having a podcast set up in the car and just stop by different gyms. That would be fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of gyms out there, a lot of up-and-coming guys. And, a lot of guys, like a lot of the younger guys that are in Australia and New Zealand, they're not really like Forrest Whitaker. A lot of those guys, they'll talk shit.
Mm.
If you met guys from Australia, a lot of those guys, they talk shit. So, there's some confident guys out there, and I think that the UFC is going to see a lot more fighters coming from that region.
Mm.
And like one championship, even like other promotions are going to see a lot more guys coming up from there in that region. And, you know, because to be honest with you, I wish Mark Hunt would have became the first champion.
Yeah, but you can't have everything in your life. And there we go. There we have Bisping versus Whittaker. Actually, they had an interview with each other before the fight, during fight week. And that was very interesting because Bisping asked Whittaker, what do you really think about me? And Whittaker just said, yeah, you believe you are the champion because you beat Rockhold. That's why you believe you are the champion. But that's what you believe.
That's not even talking shit. That's just like facts.
What did Bisping just do? He threw his fucking belt on the ground.
Hmm? Oh, he threw Whittaker's belt on the ground?
No, his own belt on the ground.
Why?
I don't know, but probably because he wanted Whittaker to pick it up like a little bitch. I'm not sure, man. This was a very entertaining fight, and with the announcement for Sydney, you think this is already gonna happen in Sydney?
Maybe, you never know, but I don't think so. I think Bisping's still recovering.
I think Bisping, in that case, as much as I like him, I think Bisping is just a little bit full of shit because he didn't want to fight Romero or somebody else. He wanted the big money fight against GSP. It's not gonna happen now. Because as long as this drags on with GSP, nobody is really interested in that, in him returning. It's just, again, a freak show. We want to, for me, I speak for myself, I want to see the best fucking fighting the best and not some fucking legend that comes out of retirement because they have some ego issues. I want to see the best fighting the best, man. And in this case, this is Bisping versus Whittaker. This is the fight I want to see next.
Yeah. I want to see that shit too.
Then let's make it happen for Sydney. Let's go out there and promote this fight with Kumite Radio and Surrounded by Details podcast.
Oh, I'll definitely promote the fight. It's just, I think that Michael Bisping has a lot more pull than people think in the UFC.
Oh, I agree totally. And he's there for a reason because he was there yeah, man, nobody can say you're there because you don't deserve it, you were just lucky. I don't believe in that kind of stuff. You are there when you need to be there and you win when you need to be winning, you know? And losing always made Bisping coming back stronger and stronger and stronger, and now he's a champion. And I think he deserves this, man. If you look at his whole journey, I think Bisping is a deserving champion.
Oh, yeah, you gotta respect him. He's, you know, he's a tale that you can tell your kids. You can tell your kids about his story. Like,
yeah,
like it's just incredible what he's done. And he's a guy that never gave up. Was in the UFC for a long time. People were just like, oh, he's a gatekeeper, and you know, they underestimated him the whole time, and he lost. You know, he had many chances to get into the top 10. And he just kept losing and losing, and then he got his chance for the title and did the damn thing.
Yeah, man.
Man, incredible.
Yeah, John, to slowly bring this to an end, because what you said is completely correct. Again, as many times before, agree with what you say. I think the Bisping story is a story that you already have a kid. Maybe you can tell that to your son or daughter. I don't know what you have. Daughter. Maybe you can sit down at your daughter's bed one night and tell her the fairy tale of Bisping one day. Who knows? John, what is your summary to bring this slowly to an end? Because we've always been recording for 3.5 hours. What is your summary? 213 with the dropout of Nunes, with the win by Whittaker, and with the loss of Brown, and the win by Overeem against Verdum. What is your summary of this UFC 213?
Anticlimactic.
What?
Yes.
Well, I guess
anticlimactic because Shevchenko and Nunes did not fight.
That is, it still overshadows everything.
I know that that's a pessimistic way of looking at it, but I was looking forward to that fight more than any other fight on that card, and it just didn't happen. And also, I'm a type of guy that likes finishes, and none of these fights were like total wars or whatever, you know, and that's just a fan in me, you know, talking, watching it. So I don't know, because if you look at it, all the fights went to decision. Yeah. Did they? Yeah.
Most, yeah.
All the fights that we watched, right?
Yeah, all the fights that we watched, the whole main card went to this decision.
Yeah, so the bonuses are probably going to come for the undercard fighters, and that's good for them. I'm happy for the undercard fighters.
I agree once again. John, thank you so much for once again sitting here with me, watching fights, and even ahead a little bit of my time. But once I was lucky, I was ahead of you for a few seconds, and I really enjoyed to do this phone companion with you. Kumite Radio, once again, where can we find you on social media, and what can we expect next of you guys?
On social media, you can find us at / I guess, Kumite Radio. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter, no Instagram. Also, you can download our podcast on like iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and watch us on YouTube. In the future, I think on the podcast, our podcast, we have Alex Shield was going to come on the podcast soon. Maybe the next podcast. Talk shit, about, the state of MMA, and maybe, kind of talk about these previous cards that we had in the UFC. I got JJ Ambrose coming on the podcast soon. He just signed to Bellator. He fights out of PXC, and he also fights in Australia for Hex Fight Series. And I got Rocky Martinez, who's going to fight next weekend in Japan for the deep open weight championship. So yeah, those are the next couple podcasts we got coming up. And we got Andy Wang. He is a former UFC fighter who is in China, and he's going to fight in China in this like welterweight tournament, and he's going to come on the podcast soon too. So a lot of stuff, for Asia. For Asian people that might know and you might not know, but it doesn't matter, because if you don't know them, it's good to listen to the podcast to get to know who they are, right?
Exactly, and this is what we are doing here. We're not necessarily, even though we watch the UFC, we do our podcast in order to grow the scene over here in Asia a little bit more. Let it be with Kumite Radio or Surrounded by Details podcast and many, many other podcasts that are starting to pop out of the ground. So I think a little, what do you say, self-compliment here to the both of us. I think we do a great job, and it's fun that we also interact with each other, because a lot of people always think, my podcast and this podcast. I think interacting is the key, and I enjoy listening to your podcast every time, as I mentioned the last time, number 22, and you can find Kumite Radio on every fucking platform, so you basically can't really hide. SoundCloud, Stitcher, Podbean, iTunes, or no, you're not on Podbean, right?
No, I'm not. Not yet.
Okay, well, it might be about time. John, thank you so much again for coming in. Guys who are listening, thank you for tuning in. You can find Kumite Radio again on all different platforms. We're going to put everything in our description. For myself and the Surrounded by Details podcast, we are having history on Monday about to happen here on the Surrounded by Details podcast. We have Aung Lan Sang coming on the podcast, 8 p.m. Bangkok time, 9 a.m. Maryland, US of A time, and then of course 9 p.m. in Singapore. What time would that be in Korea? That would be 11 p.m., right?
Oh, where? 9 p.m.?
No.
Yes, 11.
Yeah, and with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you can also find the Surrounded by Details podcast on social media. You can find us on YouTube, you can find us on Podbean, you can find us on iTunes, where you can download all our audio episodes for free, audio only, but it is for free, so shut the fuck up. And you can also find me on social media, which I made a lot more easier for you now. It is everywhere: Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And yes, you heard correctly, I'm about to bring back my Twitter account, because too many people have been complaining that I'm not active there. So at the moment I'm cleaning up. Just look for @SteveBonhage, SteveBonhage, and that is also the website. Just put a .com behind the name, and you will find the finest MMA photography in Asia, maybe the whole wide world, maybe even the universe, on the website and the podcast. That is it for me, ladies and gentlemen. John, that's it. By the way, when is your next episode?
Most likely it's going to be released tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Or the next day.
Tomorrow or
Monday
the next day?
Monday or Tuesday.
Bam, looking forward to that. And yeah, with that being said, we're bringing this to an end. See ya!
Peace.